Good evening, everyone. This is the Arts and Culture Board meeting for Thursday, August 2025. We'll call the meeting to order with the quorum, and the very first thing on the agenda is the director's reports. The very first thing on the agenda is the city council liaison.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How you all doing? Good. Good to see everybody. I was sad to miss the meeting last month. Here.
Are you?
Yes.
It didn't go very well.
I think it's exciting. I also didn't, have to sit through, several hours of meeting time.
But you watched it.
Yes.
On 4 times?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But I just appreciate all the work that you all did and all the applicants, all the work that they put in as well. And I'm really excited about that. Additionally, excited about what we have on the agenda tonight with, we'll talk about it plenty. So I'm not going to talk about it too much now, but the percent for arts, very, very excited about that. So, and obviously, if any of you all need anything or have questions or concerns, please reach out to me anytime. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next thing on our agenda is the director's report.
Thanks. I don't have a lot for you tonight, but I did want to give you a heads up. We do have a study session scheduled with City Council 2 weeks from Tuesday, so August 26th. We are the second item on the agenda, I believe. So 6:30 start. I would suspect that we would get on about 7:15 or 7:30. But we have 2 items to talk with council about. First will be our recommendations from the board for the grant funding out of the lodgers tax. So we will go through the 4 tiers that we have that the board came up with last month and the month before. So we're ready to go with those. I think we've got 45 minutes for that. I don't think it will take that long. Much like last year, the council has been very receptive to the board's recommendations in each of the first 2 grant cycles. I think that will happen again this year. Second item, as Joel mentioned, will be a conversation with council again about the Percent for Public Art program. We have met with them 3 or 4 times in the last couple of years to talk about this, where it was either the main subject or a partial subject. So I think council is well versed on this subject. They gave us some very good feedback over the last couple of meetings. So the policy that you have in front of you is revised from the policy that the board initially came up with a couple of years ago. But this reflects council's feedback, the manager's feedback. So this is what will be in front of city council when we go to talk to them on the 26th. I did have an error in my email that I sent out to you last week where I said the board had to approve it. You don't have to approve it again. Yes, we just want the board to have the final draft in front of you, since this is a result of our conversations with city council. I think the main thing to think about with this is it is an opportunity for us to talk to council about the percent program, what the plan that the board has come up with, and then look for a green light from them or direction from them, whether come back to them with an ordinance that would enact that. So we have kind of eyed out what first and second readings would look like. The object would be to get it in front of this council, which has already seen this multiple times, rather than to start fresh in November after the elections. So we will see what council wants to do, but I feel like the board has done really solid work putting this together, and we'll be prepared to have yet another chat with council about this issue. And the only other item, and then I will turn to Anna for a second. We had scheduled our communications director, Jessica Bixman, to come in tonight to visit with the board. She had a conflict, was not able to do it this evening, so we have rescheduled communications and marketing for the October meeting. So we have several special guests coming in over the next few months, and Anna's going to go over the schedule with you since it's moved a little bit since the last time we chatted with you.
Sure. Yeah, we have some exciting guests coming up in the next few months, as Tim mentioned. In September, we're going to have the Downtown Development Authority come and speak to us a little bit more about what their purview is and what exactly they do. If anyone, I think there were a couple of people here in this room who were able to attend the CAP group meeting on Wednesday. the DDA was here for that event as well and did a really wonderful presentation in conjunction with our economic development department about the economic vitality of Littleton. It's super interesting, and I think would be very beneficial for this board to hear more about it. So they're coming in September. As Tim just mentioned, communications department will be here in October. And you have all seen the like much beefed up tier 3 summary that Jessica submitted probably a month or 6 weeks ago. So she'll have the opportunity to go over that more in person and answer any questions that we have for her. And then in November, we have Hudson Gardens coming to speak more about where they're at with their strategic plan. You're looking at me like you're really confused, JD.
No, good.
Hudson Gardens / South Suburban. Fun times.
We have the economic development also.
Economic development, that's true. I'm sorry, I forgot to say that. They're also scheduled to come in October, along with patients. Catch things.
Dennis is not here tonight, so we are without a library report. You can send him emails and complaints.
What concert is happening at the library?
I heard that, I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
It's a Western Welcome Week something, I
Oh,
assume.
okay.
Oh,
I thought the concert
yeah.
happened at the museum. So I was
Yeah,
really-
the library does a Western Welcome concert.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next up is public comment. I don't see anyone here to comment publicly, so we're gonna go ahead and move past that. And that takes us to old business, and I believe back to Anna for an update on the lodger's tax revenue.
Well, I guess it's not news for anyone that the revenue has been declining, not just recently, but really long-term over the last 3 years. We figured, as you all know, that it's about $100,000 down every year. But having led with that really dismal information, we also have a little nugget of hope, and that numbers were up in June. We don't have any numbers since then to share with you. We don't have them in yet. But I think in general, it sort of follows expectations that there's a little rise during the summer months when tourism amps up a bit. So that's good news. But you will see in front of you that you have revised, well, this is just the executive summary of your recommendations for all 4 tiers. I think the main thing that you'll notice here is that there was an additional $22,000 added for off-cycle requests in tier 4. We decided that that was where we would build an additional buffer in case we have to continue to take down our tier 2 numbers. If not, like, I don't think this is likely necessarily, but if numbers decline this next month, it might be necessary that we'd have to revise them again, but
It gives us a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah.
A little bit of a buffer. Great news is we don't have to do any cuts, which we last couple of years we had to do in August. So, and it's right. It actually is the trend line too for the July numbers are looking up as well. So we're optimistic, cautiously optimistic that we won't have to do anything more, but this tucking a little bit into your focus gives us a little bit of a buffer so that we don't have to go back to court and ask for more decisions.
We actually didn't connect about this when we met earlier in the week, but I suppose this would be our opportunity to make any like last minute adjustments. I mean, this is sort of the last time you'll be able to do that as a board before it goes to council, right?
Actually, it's probably too late to do that because the packet has already gone.
Oh, it's already gone out, of course. Yeah. So this is really just more informational.
Yeah, I mean, it is good news though. Like I said, the last 2 Augusts, we've had to come back and present the board with additional, we call them adjustments. They were cuts down to in some of the different tiers. So this is certainly better. And this gives us a little bit of flexibility. Hopefully it will continue the trend at the very least to stay status quo, but it gives us a little bit of flexibility in case we have to do anything. And if we get into 26 without having to do that, then we have a little bit of funding that we can use for those off-cycle requests that JD has hoped to have for the last couple of years.
John Williams, I'm holding out.
There you go.
We'll also include in the packet for council, or we'll have that information, all those referrals that we made out for the stadium grant and for the partnership. So not that none of that has changed since our July meeting. But it was over 50% that we did refer out, just so you know. Recall.
So any questions about the July numbers, stuffing it under the tier 4 mattress until we know how the year ends, the presentation to council, what that may or may not entail, and then what council can or cannot do with it moving forward?
I just have a question about next year. So knowing that 50% of what we got referred out, and we don't expect, should we not expect either of those two things, the community partnerships or the
Local
stadium?
partnership will still be available.
Okay.
The stadium grant funds will all be.
That for sure, because I thought we heard like several times last year,
We
stadium.
thought, in fact, I thought up until June that they had used up all the money, but they had $105,000 left from last year that did not get allocated, but their intention is to close that line item this year. So with the ones that we referred to them, plus others that had come in separate from the Arts and Culture Board, they feel certain that they're recommending all of that money be dispersed this year.
Are we going to have like another kind of postmortem about like what, if we're changing any of the,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, right now we've got it on the schedule for November. Back to the
okay.
board.
Is that something you're gonna talk to city council about? Like, we're in this situation where this is how much money.
Yeah, that's a great question, Keith. That's part of the presentation for next, in 2 weeks. We have a slide that specifically looks at the decline, the revenue projections versus actual revenue that's coming in each of those 3 years. We got a couple of great bar graphs that Becky built that really show that gap between in each of those years, and that gap. It's not really getting bigger, but it's staying the same each year, and it's going down each of those 3 years. So it is something we really need to talk about. I do think there's some strategies that are starting to be put in place that may be helping this year and could help next year. I mean, it is a long-term probably problem that we need to look at with the hotels about that. One of the things that our economic development department is asking for, and they'll probably talk about this when they're here in October. And they're looking at doing a hotel feasibility study in 2026. So they've got a budget request in for that in 2026. And I know part of that is at the behest of the DDA, which would like to see another hotel, maybe down in the downtown, kind of that halo area that they talk about, which is the historic downtown extended. But they also want to talk to the existing hotels, particularly the ones on county line, to see what the disconnect has been between where their occupancy rates were prior to the lodger's tax being enacted and then since then. Because it isn't price that they're very much right in the competitive market area. So there's something we can learn, I think, from the hotels.
Let me expand on that answer. We are not intending to address with council future policy as it relates to the lodging tax at this study session. This is really just about what we're offering. In every past year that we've presented this information to council, they have hinted or asked questions that might give us insight or some informal direction as to what they might like to see, which we will then bring back to this body, discuss it in November, reform our policy, and then that actually goes to council, or at least to the city manager's office, depending on how drastically it may change. If we keep it the same, it will likely not go back to council. But if we provide any significant changes, that would be a recommendation to council and it would go back to them. So no, we're not planning on discussing changes to the policy at this study session. We are highlighting that the revenue and the projections continue to drop. They can certainly see that we are bringing to them with this 45% of the asks and continue to pass the buck to them with the stadium funds and the
Right.
community funding.
That's what I'm worried about is I just want them to know that like 50% of people asking for money, we passed on and we won't have that next year.
It is not lost on them.
They know that.
Just different question. Do we know how much money out of that total came from short-term rentals, not hotels?
We don't, but that's a really good question. It's one that we're gonna be querying the finance department about, because that it all kind of gets mixed together, but I think that's an interesting question, and particularly, you know, there are certainly different opinions on council as to how aggressively the city should be pursuing short-term rentals, but they are in the ballot language for the lodger's tax. They're included as supposed to be remitting the lodger's tax from any of their short-term rentals. So it's a good question, and we don't have an answer at this point.
And that's like Airbnb.
Correct, yeah, VRBO or anything like that.
You know, it's really interesting, just for some context. I had this event last week where we had over 200 people at ACC for this Art Makers event. And they were coming from Iowa and Wisconsin, and they were coming from out of state, and some of them were coming from north, like Boulder or whatever. And they were saying that none of them stayed in the hotels in Littleton. Some of them stayed in Airbnbs, and they were staying outside of Littleton because they didn't feel like Littleton had good hotels for them to stay in. Which I thought was like, oh my God.
Are sad. The county line hotels are sad. Like there's nothing there.
Yeah, they
You're
didn't
just
stay in Littleton.
on
The only ones who
highway.
stayed in Littleton were the ones who stayed in Airbnbs, and that was it.
I will say there are like some stopgap measures in place that communications department is currently working on so that they can put more beds and heads in Littleton hotels, like incentives for people for, especially during like big community-wide events, like Western Welcome Week or like the ACC, you know, like Affordable Art Market or like other, you know, ones that bring in hundreds of people into town. They're working hard on putting some of those incentives in place so people will know about those hotels and stay in them. So there's definitely more work we can do on that front, and also with grant recipients who are receiving lodger's tax money to have events, you know, it's sort of a full circle thing.
Right, it
So-
is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, I think to Keely's point, there has to be communication that, because I just looked for a friend to stay there and I looked at the reviews and I looked at the rooms and they're pretty run down. And so do I want to refer my friend to stay there or?
You referred me to stay there.
She said friend.
I know.
It's a colleague.
I think, Councilmember, I don't know if you care to jump in. My understanding of council has not been to lean in heavily to the enforcement or collection of sales tax from short-term rentals. And I don't think there's been any conversation since you joined council.
Folks are talking about it, but not in, in the council sessions, it's something we're aware of. I also I do think that there's at least a little bit of tension between the need for housing and affordable, attainable housing for folks and a desire to not let short-term rental markets gobble up what we have. So I think that's probably a little bit of where that conversation probably goes. For what it's worth. And this is also just me talking. So.
And I also, we have certainly heard anecdotally, I don't know that we have anything empirical to back this up, but we've heard anecdotally that part of the issue with the events, like what you're talking about in the downtown area is the distance from the county line hotels
Yeah.
too. So I think that's a piece of it as
Right.
well. There's nothing that's super close, and unless you've got your rental car and really know the area, it's a little hard. So we don't have much in the way of. Yes, we have the Essex House.
That's what I was gonna say.
Or would there's that other one on like the Timberline or something? Is that a hotel?
I mean, Kate's been
Yeah.
saying a boutique hotel ever since I started being on this
I agree with Kate.
committee. Now I understand.
Yeah, and again, those hotels are privately owned. You know, how much influence do we really have as a public entity? And I mean, all those questions come into play. But I think that there's a lot of different avenues that need to be addressed, and I don't know that it's our responsibility as a board to address all of them.
I think it's, sorry.
No, I think Kate's right. I think there are some lanes where I think it's really appropriate for the Arts and Culture Board to kind of lean in, and there's some of the areas that really are more economic development, or there are other departments, other areas that probably are more equipped to do that.
If there are, and I saw your hand, so, 1 second. If there are questions about hotels that you would like economic development to come to October with answers to, forward them to Anna. And we will, collate them and then bring as many answers as possible. So.
With the understanding that they may not have answers
Right, yeah.
now, because part of that I think would be that hotel feasibility study. If they
Yes.
Get that approved.
But I think if they, as much information as they can come with, they will. Noah?
So I'm confused. So somebody from economic development came in last year and they talked about how they had a funding request last year to do a boutique study for hotels. Is that the same thing? I thought they were supposed to start in 25.
No, they were looking at still doing this year and into next year, an economic impact study of tourism and market, which would include the hotel piece of it, but also have a lot of other areas that they would be looking at. This one would be aimed specifically at just looking at the hotels that we have in existence, and then the potential for a hotel more in a downtown adjacent area. So this would be a lot more focused in on just on lodging.
So then, like, to your email, economic development and communications is gonna come in October?
Yeah, I think they're both in October, aren't they?
Okay.
Separate topics.
Yeah.
Okay, but the same time, okay.
We'll have them blocked off into separate areas, but there may be some things that Jessica and Rachel want to tag team on as well.
Okay.
I think then we'll move on to our new business, which starts with the percent for public art program review. And then review the percent for public art policy.
Yeah, and Anna has a PowerPoint.
Amongst yourselves, please.
She does that. And speaking of asking questions in October, the LDDA also has on their website a master plan. If you have the time or interest in perusing that prior to them coming in September, there is a robust arts program. And the downside of it is it's not funded. And so to know what their ambitions are is helpful coming in, and it may lead to more context and a more robust conversation.
Didn't they apply for the lodging tax grant?
They did.
Did they give them money? Yes, we did.
Did.
And that was for the public. Partially. for the public.
I believe they wanted to do a temporary or rotating
Yeah.
program.
The board is recommending 13,000 for.
This might be an odd question for you, Tip, but maybe you know. If the short-term rental, is there a publicly available map of who has what properties are registered
Oh,
in the city limits?
that's
I can't tell.
a great question. I don't know the answer to that, but I'll check with economic development and see if they.
Or I can add to the questions on.
You could possibly just pull it from the websites of the services, right?
That's what I was like getting, that's what I was going to get to is like, there's like 4 or 5 of them within a city block of my house. And I'm just curious because you have to basically apply to the e-track system, near as I can tell. So it's a little bit of an opt-in honor policy versus like
Yes.
anything that's tracked. And I was like, I guaranteed there's programs out there that will either go and audit and say, these are all the properties that are posting on all the different websites. And then, you know,
Yeah,
so it
you're,
depends on how aggressive city council wants to get, but I would say to your original point, I'd venture to say there's that honor policy may or may not be working.
I I think you are very accurate in that.
As a prosecutor, I don't know about our policies.
No, I'll check and see if they've got, a map.
I've looked just because, I'm just a little bit familiar with like this, what appears to be policy. And I haven't seen anything, cause I'm just curious, cause like I said, it's a revolving door. Like in all the ones that are around by my house, like they have no problems, keeping it filled, so.
And there's one across the street from me that's full for half the year.
Oh, is that right?
Well, and that's a whole other animal, because technically if you, and this is where I think people probably game the system, is if you're over 29 days, you don't have to have a short-term rental.
Oh, well, they live there half time and then the other half the time they rent it out for short-term rentals. So it's not,
I just think somebody goes, well, I rent my place for more than 29 days a year, so I'm not even gonna, I think because of just maybe ignorance or, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I
no
don't think it's
clarity.
super well publicized. I know it's not super well publicized. I mean, so I think that's a piece of it. And I think, I think it is largely on the honor system at this point. It's, you self-report. But I'll try to see what they may have something that's more internal than is a map. I don't even know what the numbers are for.
Yeah, it's
rentals
yeah,
in-
it's all mixed
within our city
together.
limits.
I think there's opportunity
Yeah,
to
That's right.
collect more revenue. Now, I don't know how much it would cost to collect all that as far as other resources, but yes. Now, your show,
Yeah,
the floor is
well,
yours.
it's, I think, a joint show, right? That's the.
Sure.
I mean, your name's on it.
But yes, particularly since we do have a few new members, we thought we'd take this opportunity just to sort of do an overview again of what Percent for Public Art is. And dive a little bit more into the policy, which you all have had in your hands for a while now, but it is a fairly complicated topic and we just want to make sure that we all are well educated on what it actually means. So this is a little bit, this is kind of a beefed up version of the presentation that we'll be doing at the study session on August 26th. So we know what public art is. I don't need to tell you this, but it is, takes a variety of forms. It can be interactive sculpture, it can be digital, it can be memorials, it can be integrated into the architecture, it can take all sorts of forms. Things like our famous Big Blue Bear downtown at the convention center. Some people even consider like festivals and performances to be a type of public art. Our mural program is a particularly robust form, I think, right now in Littleton, and that's growing every year. The reason it's important, again, which is not anything that I think I need to tell anyone here, but that it's a big part of like our sense of identity as a community. It plays a huge part in our placemaking and the pride of place that I know a lot of people, residents, staff here at the City of Littleton, like everyone who lives and works in Littleton feels, and our public art is a big part of that. And then, of course, there's the economic impact of it too. Our public art, as we know, is it brings people in to shop, to dine, to stay. And I think it's an essential part of what makes community special. Certainly in Littleton, it does. I think this is sort of an interesting statistic here, that these Percent for Public Art programs are in many, many cities nationwide. There's more than 350 across the country currently. And that they've been around for quite some time, since 1959, in fact. And there's a lot of variations, I would say, on the Percent program. Even in the state of Colorado, we have the majority of municipalities that are the size of Littleton or bigger do actually have some kind of Percent program, though they do differ a little from city to city, for sure. We have had some sort of public art in Littleton for many decades. Starting with the creation of the Fine Arts Commission, which then turned into the Fine Arts Board. That was back in 1964. Of course, this body, once it was a commission at one point, founded in 2019.
Sure.
And then, of course, our beloved lodger's tax, in 2022. So it's evolved a lot over time, to kind of reflect the changing needs, I think, of the community. But, I think for many decades at least, it's been a priority, certainly. And then this lovely bar graph. As you can see, there's been a downward trend. This is sort of the investment in public art in Littleton for the last 20 years. There have been some sort of like one-time flushes of cash here and there, as you can see, starting in like 2004, 2015. But in general, there hasn't been more than $10,000 per year spent on public art in Littleton for many years. And that would not even purchase a very small like desktop bronze.
And those last 3 years are all part of tier 4. So every year before that was general fund.
Correct. Those are
Funded by
essentially
city
mural
council.
program.
Yeah, and the last 3 are the mural program funded by the lodger's tax.
Does is the mural program in these numbers, like the funding for the mural program in these numbers?
It's funny because this bar graph has been updated.
Okay.
So the one that we'll present to council in 2 weeks does have, the 20,000 for last year and this year are included.
Okay.
But I didn't update it in this one. But I think it's an important distinction to make. Like, we have to remember that the mural program is part of our public art program. And that's a good reminder for ourselves and for council.
What was that in 2004?
Yeah, what happened?
That's a great question, Joel, and I keep forgetting to
Probably
ask
a donor.
Jenny, who is our local keeper of all of our fine arts records. We know that we had the big signature art piece in the entranceway here at the museum. That was the year we were building the new museum building. And that piece, I think, was around 45,000. Obviously a one-time type of expense that came out of the construction budget. Jenny, do you remember off the top of your head? I know it's putting your.
I think it's also, some funds were, put like a down payment towards the, sunflowers out here as well. So that was another one that was a chunk of money that was gone, that went towards that. And I think there was one other small sculpture too, but I don't remember off. the
It
top
was
of my head.
multiple projects. Yeah, I just can't remember.
You give me a couple seconds.
It is kind of striking though.
I meant to
Yeah.
ask you that, but then you can't. I apologize. for
No, it's
putting you
quite
on
all
the spot.
right.
Yeah, we will definitely get that, Joel. That's a real
I'd also be curious
outlier.
about like the 10 years prior to 1994 to 2004.
Yeah,
If that was just like a random spike because museum construction and.
Through the 10 years prior to 2004,
Yeah.
it was up and down, but it was much higher than
Okay.
what our average is right now. We did go back and look at that prior to the 2022 study session we do with council. And off the top of my head, I think it was somewhere in the $40,000 range almost every year. We did have a couple, as you had we had an economic downturn in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I think that one, we were still around $10,000 that was in the general fund. This would have all been in the general fund at that point.
Worth noting that $10,000 in the 90s is not the same as $10,000.
That is very true.
Also not.
And on that point, Joel, a good example that we have liked to continue to go back to is, the Coming Home sculpture, the big bronze one of the people on horseback, was commissioned in the late 80s for Jenny, I think it was 58,000.
Yeah.
That was in the late 80s. And with, today's dollar, that would be anywhere from like 75 to 250% more than that cost then.
So I'm finding an email from Tim to this board back in 2022, because I don't delete anything.
She doesn't. This is our collection.
I'm the only one at the city who probably gets away with that. For example, in 2001, the Fine Arts Board paid $7,000 for Circle of Friends, the bronze that's outside of the library. In 2010 and 2011, Cobbler's Path and Slinky the Caterpillar, two similarly sized bronzes,
This is specifically apparently about bronze. It's cost 17,500 and 20,000 respectively. So, and then in here it says that's a 250 to 285% increase from 2001 to 2011. So that's at least the cost of what everything cost. So.
And for those of you who aren't familiar with those specific pieces, we chose those because they are relatively the same size and scale. So you could, it isn't exactly apples to apples, but it's a closer comparison we can come up with some of the bigger ones.
Yeah, so Skip to My Lou, which is the kinetic metal one that's in the park on the other side of the street of.
Golf carts.
Yeah, and Gallup Gardens, thank you, Jim, is that was $20,000 in 2003. Cobbler's Path, 2010, and then Slinky, the Caterpillar that I mentioned. So, yeah, let me keep looking.
But there hasn't been any significant investment in a major piece of public art for 15 years.
Yeah, and then there's also
Yeah.
COVID too, so.
Right, of course.
I don't, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think we have acquired a major piece of outdoor public art since 2011 and indoor since I think 2017, if I remember
That's
from
right.
our conversation the last time we did a study session.
Yeah.
I think that the hope is that this is a important reminder that for whatever reasons and circumstances, as a city, there are opportunities to invest more and to reach back to what we used to do. We're also hoping to have comparison numbers for Inglewood and a couple other cities.
I'd like to see
to
cities with
share,
similar demographic. Yeah.
Should council want to take us down that path. But, yeah, it's a telling graph.
I think Golden is like.
Well,
Loveland.
Golden has like a
Sure.
massive amount of statues.
Well, I
But they're
know.
all over. They're like every 10 feet.
So I'm
there's
saying
a-
like compare what
But that must be
they're,
courts,
what
right?
they
Like-
invest in public art at a similar demographic to what we don't invest.
But don't you think Coors donates like all of that? I
No.
mean, there's
No.
so much in Golden.
Most of that comes out of the percent program that Golden has. They have one also and have one for a while. Some of those older bronze sculptures you're talking about, particularly down on their kind of their Main Street area, those came with a combination of city funds. Most of those were prior to their percent program, but they came with a kind of a combination of city funds and private donations. Kind of like a fundraising type of matching campaign. I'm sure Coors put some money into some of those, but it wasn't like they were writing a check for the whole thing. It was definitely sort of more of a matching funds type of thing.
I don't want to say there's a direct causation, but 2011 is when Denise and I joined the Fine Arts Board. Yeah, and then.
Well, I was.
What, enemies took money away?
2019, I've been on this, but I just don't want to accept any responsibility.
I think it might all be.
Back to 2011 and the Slinky sculpture that's in Stern Park. Everybody that has been to Stern Park is very familiar with it, but it was a big community outreach program as well. The artist had not named Slinky yet and agreed with the board. We wanted to do a naming and he said, this would be amazing. Let's do this. So I can't remember how many, hundreds of, and it was a child-driven nomination. Nominations we got from kids in the city. And then they showed up when we dedicated the sculpture. There were all these kids with cupcakes, but they were like, oh, I wanted to name it this. I wanted to name it this. And it was this great community moment. And I think that there's more to the story that is important. When we acquire art, it is, the art is great. We have it for a long time, but I think that there's other community building pieces that are behind the artwork as well, and we've missed that over the last several years.
Let's go ahead and keep going.
Sorry.
No, you're good. That's a great place to end it.
Okay, so we've reached the point in the presentation where we do sort of an overview of some of the policy here. Tim, do you wanna take over some of this part or?
Sure.
Since you were the one who wrote it?
Well, did I? Yeah, so this is kind of pick up where the board has been for the last several years working with council and the city manager's office. But as we're directed by city council, the Arts and Culture Board does administer, manage the implementation of the percent of public art program as the policy is written. And then we would work in collaboration with other city departments, and that's mostly gonna be the Public Works Department, since we're looking at with this iteration of the policy, it is just on the public side, so it would just be City of Littleton projects. And that actually is a really good way to get our feet into that. That we talked a little bit with the board and with the council about just the complexities involved when you go on to the private side of things. On the public side, it is pretty cut and dried. It's a 1% surcharge is what we're calling it. It is very similar to the fee in lieu that you see on the private side. But it's essentially 1% of a construction project that the city does over $500,000. It generally will exclude things like maintenance and repair, temporary installations or repairs or maintenance, things like pavement management. So every kind of like a mill and overlay is not gonna count towards this. Fleet replacement is a big capital outlay. It would not count towards this. So it's major building projects. So that could be public facility, it could be a major street intersection or something like that. But the city doesn't do a ton of them, but they do enough of those that are over $500,000 that it would be a good stream of income for the public art. But that would require us working really hand in hand with the Public Works Department, with the City Attorney's Department, the Attorney's Office, to make sure that we are we're cognizant of what projects fall within that. The way the policy is written, if there is any disagreement over whether or not one is in or one is out, the city manager would make a determination and make that recommendation. So it's a great opportunity to work with other city departments, really good opportunity for us to kind of flesh out these processes on the public side. On the private side, for a percent of public art program, every single project that would cross that threshold, that $500,000 threshold, is an individual negotiation. So you're working with the developers in each instance. It is rarely cut and dry that it's 1%. That's sort of your starting point for negotiation. It usually fee in lieu processes, which essentially is just a fee is paid to the city in lieu of integrating artwork into a construction project. So it might be a project that wasn't really conducive to artwork, or it might be a location that wasn't great, wasn't available to the public. So the developer, rather than do an integrated piece into their construction, would give the city X number of dollars. And you usually start at 1%. I have seen that negotiated down into various increments. 0.5% is not unusual. 0.75 is not unusual. 1% happens sometimes too. You also have a negotiation on every single one of these projects about what counts as public art. So one of the things that we have seen frequently in these programs is they will say, well, we'll be building a set of stairs up into our building, and we're gonna put what we consider to be artistic handrails on. Well, you have to have handrails. So art is in the eye of the beholder. I rarely see a handrail that I would classify as public art. But you will have those back and forth with developers through each one of these. So it's a major lift for staff to have the capacity to do those type of things too. And it also is not a great time to be, fine tuning and refining your program. So our recommendation to council is, and the city manager concurs with this, is that we start, if council gives us the green light, we would start with a public facing public art per percent program, which would give us plenty of time to kind of refine those processes, work through them, figure out what works and what doesn't. Certainly it's possible council may never want to go to the private side, but if they do, we'd like to have a little runway to prep for that.
I would add to that too, that we're not talking like astronomical sums of money in a normal year too. We did a little bit of projecting out with the numbers and calculated, Tim did, that it would be in a normal year, something around 27,000 a year. But the good part is that it can be cumulative and it doesn't have to be spent in that year. And then, of course, in the years when there are really big public works projects, then of course that revenue would be a lot higher.
Yeah.
And we have some of those coming down the pipeline.
We do potentially. I mean, you look at Project Downtown, that would certainly be a big revenue generator. But Anna's exactly right. We calculated, the public projects over $500,000 in 2021. So 4-year period. Total for those 4 years was about $115,000. So 26, 27,000 a year. That's probably a relatively normal year. Our public works director does think that that will get a little bit higher because they're really starting to kind of look into some of the VA construction projects. So there would be more that would potentially qualify, but there are also gonna be pieces that are gonna be on the exclusion list as well. So again, it's a good opportunity for us to work with those other departments and really make sure that we have a finely running program once we have a process, once we get up to speed.
And
So,
this board would be really involved with, similar to the lodgers tax, with fine tuning the policy for that if and when it's passed.
so for the exclusions that you were referencing as concepts, so repaving Windermere versus, like, would the Euclid Avenue project have, would that be on the exclusion list?
I
Like, it was-
think where you'd see the difference,
like-
particularly on street projects, would be a rebuild would probably qualify.
Okay.
Repair, overlay, that sort of thing
Okay.
would probably not qualify. So I don't remember exactly where Euclid falls in that.
It was probably a rebuild,
If it's a rebuild, the public works director, that probably would qualify.
because they made it like a complete street, supposedly. I have to look at it.
Okay,
I don't know
yeah,
what it's
I know the one you're talking about. I just don't remember the details.
I experience it every morning.
We got a little ahead of ourselves.
Say again, Katie.
It's just for the buses so they can. get in
Oh.
and out.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Well, there was
Okay.
supposed to be a 12-foot multi-use path on the side of Euclid Avenue too. It was in the vision, but
Maybe not yet.
when I went to the open house, that's what they told me.
Oh, yeah, Anna's right. I did jump way ahead of her slide. Sorry about that.
No
Yeah, but
question.
so these are the thresholds that we're talking about, is that $500,000 piece. JD asked a great question yesterday when we had the leadership meeting that we had. Would this impact the city's safe streets or safer streets process? We think probably it would not, because most of those are gonna be small enough projects that they wouldn't cross that $500,000 threshold. Or they could fall under the maintenance and repair type of thing. So we don't think that this would be any kind of impediment to those. So I don't think many of them would qualify. But I do think if you're rebuilding the intersection at Broadway and Littleton Boulevard, that's gonna qualify under it would not be excluded from the public art in terms of the percent program.
And it's project by project. So Safer Streets is $1 million initiative.
Right.
Made up of many small projects.
Well, I guess we could even write the policy to exclude safer street projects in the event that there is, like, if we wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, council can give us direction to, I would lean towards including bubble gum if the city were purchasing it. But yes, council
Listen, I
can,
want bike lanes and public art, so we have to find a balance.
I think what we would do, if council gives us the green light on the 26th to come back with an ordinance, then we would really have a much more deep conversation with the city attorney about what we want to build into the policy and what we would want in more of an addendum to the policy, so that you're not locking yourself in on the policy side of things. You're giving yourself some flexibility for negotiations with the other departments. But I mean, if council simply says, we're finally going ahead with the percent public art program, but we want you to exclude safer streets, we would exclude safer streets. That would be our direction from city council, and then you get both of your wishes.
I think you can anticipate a lot of gray area in this,
Gotcha.
especially like, if we do eventually begin implementing it, each project would be pretty unique and probably would require a lot of communication across all departments, like with city attorney's office and public works, of course. So, yeah, each one will be.
Yeah.
And I think the interesting thing, I may be jumping ahead of Anna's next slide,
Let's see
but I
what it
think the
is.
interesting thing about
Here we go.
Well, I'm even gonna jump past this one too, I think, 'cause I do want to just, and I talked about this in the email, and I'm sure you've seen it in the policy doc itself. But one of the things I think is really unique about this is the approach to this percent program is not a traditional percent program, which almost exclusively leans on integration of public art into each construction project. And then your fallback is your surcharge or your fee in lieu. In this instance, what we're saying, because we know we have really limited funds for public art acquisition throughout the city, and we also know we have some public art deserts in Littleton. And this was really a suggestion from the city manager. Let's make that 1% surcharge piece the primary funding source. So in most instances, what you would see is that 1% would go into this fund that the board would accumulate. It would not be one that has to be expended every year. It would accumulate over the years, so you could build up a balance. Again, if you're talking about 25,000 a year, it's going to take you a little while to get to the point where you can do a major art installation. But it gives you that source of funding. And it allows the board a ton more flexibility than they would have if you're working with Public Works to integrate, a piece into like the Bellevue Service Center or a facility that they're redoing, or a specific intersection. The board would have, now if they integrate artwork into what they're doing, that cost of that would come off their 1% total, but they would still be paying into the surcharge. It just really gives the Arts and Culture Board a lot more autonomy over how they can acquire, administer, and install public art throughout the community. So I think it's a really, we're calling it the Littleton twist. It's not exactly that. There are other places that do some of these things, but we think council will like that. Joel is not. He's not nodding yet.
They would love that.
Well, I'm just wondering, because and do you mind if I ask a question? Under the public art sites section in here, it expresses that this policy would encourage site-specific art. Or something like our service center. It's not like necessarily, I would love it for our city staff to be able to encounter art in their daily work, but it's not necessarily like a place where the general public is gonna go walk around and hang out, and probably they shouldn't.
Right.
So what does this is the lawyer in me, this is probably important, but what does encourage mean? And are there specific opt-out or like methods to choose other locations?
We would encourage in any project that there be some public art. In this case, it's probably going to be more. So you're talking about more of a private facing building or a non-public facing building. It's probably something on the interior that would just be aesthetically interesting for the facility itself, but wouldn't take up the full 1% of that. So you
Rest would go
encourage
into
it to be something to be integrated into any of the buildings so that they're not sterile 1970s Soviet style architecture. But you wouldn't anticipate that would, the brutalist is
Yeah.
people who love the brutalists, so.
Come to ACC.
Katie's right. But yeah, Joel, that would the idea would be to have some level of incorporation in any public facility, just so that it's not so sterile.
Yeah.
But primarily you'd be looking at funding that surcharge fund.
That makes sense.
And we maybe need to be more explicit in that too.
I don't know if you do, it's just like,
No, that's a good catch.
what's the definition of is, that kind of a thing.
And I think in this case, site specific really is meaning more like unique to wherever the place that the art is installed, like whatever the natural characteristics of that space are.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean specific to the project that's funding the.
Okay, that's really helpful, thank you.
Let's keep going.
Sorry to derail it.
No, not at all. So the other piece of this is we're looking at each of these funding mechanisms post-project during reconciliation. So you wouldn't have to go through this piece of it while you're going through the project. You would wait until you get to the end. You would see what your actual costs were that were expended, and that 1% was based on actual costs rather than just your budget estimates that you have going into the process. Again, allocated funds, this is nothing surprising here. This is the same as it's always been: acquisition, installation, and maintenance of public art. The maintenance piece of you, for those of you who are veteran members, you will remember that we had a conversation early in the lifespan of the board, talking about 1% for acquisition, and we talked about 0.25 or 0.5% just for conservation, maintenance, upkeep, and that sort of thing. That's not a standard thing that you see in percent programs. So as we looked through a lot of our competitors here in the metro area, and then just took the temperature of council and the city manager's office, there wasn't a lot of appetite for plugging that piece of it into. So what we look at doing for conservation in particular, conservation maintenance and upkeep in particular, is we have a line item in the museum's budget and our general fund budget that we can use for those sort of things. We would look at bumping that up so that we can take care of that. It would be our staff or our consultants that Jenny knows that would be working on those things anyway. So we would work with the general fund for that piece of it. And then we also put in, because you always have to put this proviso in for something like this. You do need to be able to account for the cost of running these programs. So in this case, the standard the council has landed on is about 15% of fund balance that could be used for that. Wouldn't necessarily have to be that much, but this will be a chunk of Anna's time as public art administrator that will go towards administering this program. Right now, her position is funded out of the lodger's tax. That would continue. We could end up balancing that with percent public art program as well, because this, as you can probably guess, from start green light from council to start up of the program and then running through it, there is a lot that's going to be required for staff to be able to get that going. So this simply acknowledges the reality of what it costs to run this. So the last piece of this is also not going to be a surprise. You'll maybe recall from the earlier iteration of the policy we had, because we were looking both at public and private, we were looking at a lot more involved selection process, because you're looking at each individual site for one of these installations. Since we're looking more at a surcharge, building that fund to be able to do different art projects in different places, what we have reverted to is the process that the Fine Arts Committee has used for years for acquiring public art. So Public Art Subcommittee, which now has taken the place of the Fine Arts Board and serves as a subcommittee under the Arts and Culture Board, would be the primary selection panel. And so they would go through their processes of soliciting RFPs or RFQs for artists for different installations. They would set their budget, look at working through the contract. We come back to the board with their recommendations for an art installation in a specific location. Board would give that their approval, and then the contract itself, as it always has, would go to city council for their approval. So Kate knows this real well. Denise knows this real well. These are the processes that I think Fine Arts Board fine-tuned over 40 or so years, and we would go back to using the guidelines handbook that, Denise, I think you were still on the Fine Arts Board when they did that. And Kate, I can't remember, were you still on there too? Yeah, so it's a great document. It gives us really a roadmap of how to go through all these processes. We'll get everyone a copy of that if council gives us the go-ahead to move forward with this. But it's a tried and true method. It has worked really, really well over the years. And I think again, it's another opportunity for us to not reinvent the wheel. We're using a process that we know. Jenny was liaison for the Fine Arts Board for years, so she's really familiar with it. So it's one that we know can work and work well. And council has always been very supportive of that process.
This is just kind of more of the same. I don't think we need to spend too much time on
filling
this
in those
slide,
blanks.
but yeah. Point is that we've built in a lot of flexibility in the policy language to. Voila.
So I think here's the takeaway for those that have been here a long time and for those that are new, this has been a bit of a roller coaster since we started talking about it almost as soon as early as the commission was formed in 2019. It was one of the first things out of our gate in addition to the lodger's tax
And COVID.
and COVID. We socialized it with council, and then in October of 2022, we brought it forward to council as the public and private. At that time, Aspen Grove was the hot topic in Littleton, and the developers were very quick to point out that Littleton didn't have the friendliest atmosphere. So at that time, the private element of this was quickly shut down, and council asked us to back off for a little while and let things cool down. We've done that. And then it's certainly been a priority for me to bring it back now to this council before November, because the majority of them were involved in some capacity back in 2022. They're familiar with those conversations. We've brought it back as just the public side, which I think is good. We brought it back at 1% instead of 1.5%, which is where we had it, which is good. All that said, Denise and I are as prepared as possible for this to go in any direction. It's difficult at this point to count noses. And we believe that there are still interested parties on council that want the private side included. Tim went into some depth as to what our answer to that will be, which is we want it to, but we want some time to work out the kinks on the easier part of it.
Proving ground.
Yes, before we jump in. I think that there is a very real possibility that they may say, let's not do the percent for art at all. Let's just fund it out of general fund. I think our answer to that will be, let's do both. Let's institute the policy, if for no other reason, because it's a statement of our ideals and principles as a city, that this is something we are invested in the long haul and that we believe in. If council wishes to throw additional funds at us, I think that would be wonderful, and I will invite it. The truth is that you can blow through $7,000, $10,000, $15,000 on maintenance every year, easy, as well as the administration costs. And if we're truly wanting to invest in projects, this alone likely will not get it done. It's also, and this is just for all of you, any decent project like Project Downtown is going to easily spend 1% of their budget on public art anyways. So while that will be a $30 to $40 million project, the chances of any of it actually coming back in the fee in lieu is probably pretty small, and it probably should be, because a really good design project like that is easily going to spend 1% on public art anyways. So there is a need for this. There's also a need for additional investment, and hopefully we will be able to just continue down the path. And I think whether it's in my tenure on this body or not, my hope is that yes, in 3 or 4 years, the Arts and Culture Board comes back with the private side of this, irregardless of the direction we get next week. So Denise,
No, I think you wrapped that up with a nice little bow.
it's also, I don't think we mentioned this earlier. Please come next Tuesday night. I think at the table, it's gonna be Denise and I and Anna, and I don't know if Tim's gonna join us up there or not.
Not next Tuesday.
Next, sorry, the 26th. But you are of course welcome to be there and encouraged to be there if you are so inclined. I think it's wonderful to show the support and have
The solidarity and just
Yes.
show them this is something that we do support and we're behind this, and we're here to support each other.
Can we wear our badges?
and your hat.
You said it starts.
I know that's
You guys didn't get a hat?
The pressure, number 2 on the agenda, so and the first item has 45 minutes on the schedule, so I think 7:15. It wouldn't shock me if we're a little bit later than that, but I was like, there early anyway, so I'll be there at 6:30 to stake out. the
Is that when
place.
it starts?
Yeah, study session starts
Do
at
you know what's
6:30.
on the agenda before
I think it's Geneva Village.
Not
It
again?
might be.
Well, Joel, do you remember, I think.
I was there for the last
Village
Geneva
was
Village one.
Yeah.
It was like a war
But it's
zone.
more of
At
a.
city council or the
view,
presentation
Isn't it?
of
Yeah.
the,
Yes, it is.
like Northern Gateway presentation?
So any questions about either the presentation or the policy before we wrap this section up?
Will you guys have an opportunity to show the same kind of slides and statistics that Anna showed?
Some of those, not all of them, are
Okay.
in our presentation, yes. The wah slide is definitely part of it.
It's a good visual.
It's pathetic.
It is.
Joel, what are you guys discussing? It's coming, like, what's the big agenda?
I'll pull it up just so that I can tell you for like 100% certain here. So we're talking about, please remind me that date again.
26.
Thank you. We have the city, it's not the Geneva Village.
Oh, okay.
It's the city facilities condition assessment report.
That sounds.
I have, it is very important.
It's very important.
I think that's gonna be a pretty robust conversation. What I can do too is, make sure that. Well, I don't want people showing up and then having to sit through that when that's not what you're there for. So I'll try to get more details about the specific order of events so that we can share that with everybody.
Okay, thank you.
You can also watch it online and then when it gets close to.
Get in the
ending, you
car,
can, like,
yeah.
scoot on in. I may or may have not done that.
I like how strategic.
For what it's worth, just as an FYI right now, when we get our calendars, it is listed as like an A, B, and C on the agenda. And it shows you this board as A.
Oh,
So
does it? Okay,
it does.
that changed since the last time I saw the calendar. Okay.
I will confirm that though and let you all know.
Okay.
If that's the case, that's at 6:30.
Thanks, Joe. That's different than the last time but I haven't looked at it for the last week, so that's great. They may have decided, since more of the board members may be able to attend, that the second item will be a staff presentation, so that might explain it.
Does everybody know that you can go onto the city website and not only pull off the agendas and the packets of council, but everybody else? Packets are the Friday before the meetings typically for council. And then there's also a document on there that lists what they're gonna be considering and looking at, and it's a draft document for the next many months. So curious minds can always go and check that out.
The agendas have very helpful links to the specific parts of the packet that they're talking about for that agenda item.
So either way, we're the best part of the night.
I was gonna say, it sounds riveting.
Do you have like a song and dance, like performance plan?
Yes.
Puppet show.
Well, we're
That's even better.
fun music.
Yeah.
So if you have any suggestions.
Any other questions about the policy, the history of the policy, where we're coming from, and hopefully where we're going? Again, best case scenario is the direction we receive, and I'm really not talking to any of you. The best case scenario is that we get direction to immediately bring this back in the next 6 weeks for first and second reading before council. That's what we're hoping for.
That's best case scenario.
Yes. But we're an optimistic group. All right. There's no other,
I handle the pessimism part for you.
if there's no other questions, then the last thing under new business is an appointment to the South Suburban Park Public Art Committee. You may or may not know that South Suburban Parks and Recreation District does have a public art committee that they do very much what we were just talking about as far as selecting and going through the process to choose public art for South Suburban Parks and Recreation facilities and property, which includes Hudson Gardens, all of the parks controlled by that district, all of the rec centers and et cetera. For I don't know how many years and hopefully well into the future, Jenny has been the city's liaison to that board. And done a wonderful job. I sit on that board on behalf of the town of Columbine Valley. The problem is because of my role with Columbine and Jenny's role as a very polite person, we don't have a full-throated, in-your-face representative who can advocate for Littleton at the top of their voice and stomp their feet. And there are many, many of those from Lone Tree. And so
Love tree. And just for kicks, what is their budget for art, JD?
It's not robust. They can usually do one piece a year, so 25-ish thousand
Okay.
at most. It varies.
It's not sure.
I mean, they have an $80 million.
Yeah, but Tim has informed me that I can appoint anyone that I so choose, and so again, as
Under the bylaws.
I've done in the past, I have asked if she would be willing to serve in that role, and she has agreed to do so. It is a fourth Tuesday of the month meeting from 8:30 until 10 a.m. So it is very conducive to people from Lone Tree.
So anyone who
Effective
wants to
trend.
babysit my kids and drop them off at school.
I will
I'll
do
be
that.
calling you.
But I have full confidence in Katie to not only represent the city well, but as an artist to really have a deep understanding and be able to produce fine work on behalf of the entire South Suburban Park and Recreation District.
And full-throated stomping of feet.
And full-throated stomping.
I
of
like
feet.
that, and I like.
Absolutely.
We've seen that.
I
so.
know, I'd like to see more, yeah.
So, again, if you're not aware of that body, please be aware of it. Now you know, and, Katie, to the extent that you're, so inclined to bring reports back as appropriate to this group, I think they'd be appreciated. We are waiting, they just sort of kicked off their year, so I think we're still waiting to find out exactly when she'll be onboarded. But we're making the appointment now so that as soon as they are willing to do that, she's ready to go.
I've already warned my children.
I have a question. Did we get a table at Ovations this year or no? I've heard that the city of Littleton has 3 tables.
Oh, the town, I'm sorry. Thinking of something else entirely. We did not do one this year because the city was doing I think, either 2 or 3.
3, yeah. Are there any openings available for anybody off of this board?
I'll find out.
Okay.
And I can speak into that. We, for the last couple of years, the Public Arts, what are we, Board? Arts and Culture Board, has purchased a table. And the hard part of that frankly is then ACC does events and the ballet does events and it was getting to be where we were spending all of our money on tables. And so while everyone is certainly encouraged to participate in whatever the fundraiser is, we as a board, since we don't even have a budget for real, needed to step back from that. So that's the reasoning behind it. It wasn't a being mean type of thing. It was a being-
And I'm just
being
asking
fair,
because
yeah.
I heard that there's 3 City of Littleton tables. So if there's,
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was 2 or 3, but I know, yeah, they were doing multiple tables this year.
okay,
I mean, JD's right. The board doesn't actually have a budget. It was coming out of the museum budget. We had the money to spare. It wasn't an issue, but as we were talking about, it was a concern that we weren't able to do that for other organizations too, so. we just want to be careful.
Is this the town hall fundraiser you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm really.
There are 3 tables, so, sorry,
No,
if
go
I
ahead.
can just confirm it. So we had one table as a sponsor of the event, City of Littleton, and then there are 2 additional tables. There are 3 tables. Seating won't be assigned for those who, might not want to sit next to one person. I know. It'd be a little boring at dinner. I think that's about it. That's about the information I have.
Last I heard, there were 22 of the 24 seats filled by the city.
by the city, okay.
What's the date on that?
Saturday, the 23rd of August.
5:30 to 9:30.
5:30 to 9:30, and I was gonna do this in roundtable, but ticket sales close tomorrow morning. It is nearly sold out, so if you're interested, tomorrow morning, townhallartcenter.org is the place to go.
I may also have 2 tickets at my table, at my company's table. So if anybody's interested, please let me know. My business partner is slacking at getting a client, so I'm happy to host.
You said 5:30.
Yes, 5:30 to 9:30.
Okay, that is the end of our business. We are now at the roundtable part, so you're always there, and I always look at you first. Do you wanna kick us off, and we'll go around anything going on or exciting we should know about?
Western Welcome Week's going on. It's pretty sweet. As everybody knows, I don't have anything else to share, but I'll be at Ovation, so looking forward to
But
it.
you did bid last year on an Ovations package, correct?
Mhm.
And you went on a trip, right?
So you could have been a part of a great conversation last night. We finally have it all figured out.
Okay.
So we're good. We're rocking and rolling. So we'll be leaving to go to Maui, first
You
week,
got it.
first week in September. Yeah.
Nice.
There was a lot of logistics, between us figuring out when we wanted to go. I had friends that wanted to dovetail into it, and then we had a little bit of a learning experience with the miles side of it. Like, so it had a part of it for the tickets and for the flights and stuff. We worked through that, and super awesome. Looking forward.
I do believe there's a couple, at least one, if not several trips available, correct, JD? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
so the auction items are pretty robust this year.
I look forward to it. I didn't actually bid on anything last night at Western Welcome Week because
Same.
I just realized I'm gonna save my money for Ovation.
You've used up all your luck now.
You're going to Maui.
That's right. It'd be awesome.
So it is the start of the semester, everyone. Just, I am dying. So the Affordable Arts Festival is Sunday, August 24th. I put a bunch of things on the table.
Any money you don't spend at Ovation, there you go.
Yeah, it's gonna be a madhouse, good lord. I have the gallery calendar for all the shows this fall. The free workshops are going on this fall. I have some posters if anybody wants to hang them up.
Are you looking at me? So I'll take them. We'll see.
I'll pick one.
Okay.
Okay, here, I'll take one.
I was gonna bring him for Dennis, but he's not here. And then also the catalog for
And grab
community
one, I'll
workforce
get one to Dennis to put
programming
in the library too.
is also out. So this is all community workforce programming is out.
Okay.
And all the students come back next week. And it's gonna be crazy. And thank you for having faith in me to be able to wrangle those lone tree.
Yeah, I actually didn't, I wasn't sure who got elected on the last, because there was 3 open board positions. All 3 people are Centennial.
Oh, were they?
But we really like Elizabeth Watt.
Oh, yeah.
Elizabeth, yeah.
She runs the Littleton Lifestyle magazine.
Oh, cool.
That's good.
I don't have anything.
I just started volunteering as an ESL tutor at the Immigration Resource Center for Library.
Oh, great.
It's awesome, and they're always looking for people, so not that any of you have extra time, but it's great. So I've had a great experience.
I did that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I had a great experience.
Yeah, it's awesome.
too. Worked with a South
Mhm.
Korean guy who was just lovely, so.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
I will be at Ovations. Blue Spark HR Solutions has a table. And then Lift Up Littleton Longer Tables is September 24th. And my company also has tickets to that as well. So please let me know if you'd like to join.
Cool. I don't really have anything. I was just gonna say it was really nice last night. The Western Welcome Week Taste of Littleton happened and I got to see some of you guys running around and having good food and good drink and good time. So it was really nice. I love Western Welcome Week. It's been part of the family since we moved here in 2005. So it's very cool.
Speaking of Western Welcome Week, I'm biking with Littleton Social Cycle in the parade on Saturday. We still have space available. If you bike and want to be in the Western Welcome Week parade, let me know and I can get you on the list.
Mostly downhill, right?
Also.
Gotta get back to where you started.
Drag it back, push it back.
And it
Um,
does start from here at the museum,
does
so you
start
know,
from
you know,
right
you know where the
here.
starting point is.
And it really caught me off guard when I used to live on Gallup Street the first time. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, new people in the neighborhood are always taken aback by that Saturday.
Littleton Q Plus just also started a LGBTQ craft night in partnership with Zymos. So that happens on the first Wednesdays of every month now. If you ever wanna just come hang, and you don't have to be gay to come, but.
When is this, in the evening or?
Yeah, it's at 6 p.m. on the first Wednesday of every month.
And where is it?
At Zymos Brewing over by Walters on Lowell.
So there's an age range, then you have to be 21.
They have a lot of non-alcoholic options. You can be under 20.
My daughter would.
They have like a house-made ginger ale and stuff. And then we are full steam ahead planning Big Pride Littleton, which is on October 11th this year, which I believe is the same day as the Harvest Festival.
It
I'm
is.
really sorry. I thought about moving it
I come
to,
to your event too.
I thought about moving it up, but this year, October, that weekend, that Saturday is National Coming Out Day. So it's kind of a perfect.
Let us know if we can
Day to
help
have it.
cross promote though, because
Yeah, for
we've got a
sure.
lot of stuff that we'll be putting out for Harvest Festival. We can certainly help out with
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some stuff at craft fair.
Yeah,
The
yeah, the week
before.
before we have our craft fair and
Oh, cool.
Art next, so we could, yeah, if you get that to us, we can get it, we can make sure it's out there.
Yeah,
for,
I can get you
that
some
crowd too.
materials when I'm.
Cool.
Cool.
Farmers market still going on?
Farmers market's still happening every Sunday through the end of September. And yeah.
And a
lots of
wildly
things happening.
successful gala.
Made a wildly successful gala. Joel was there. Had a great time. We raised 8 times what I expected. However, I only expected $1,000.
Still.
But
That's great.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
But we raised $8,000. It was great.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
Western Welcome Week is 4 or 5 days from wrapping up, but certainly there's still a lot of events to participate in. There's a concert on Friday night up at Clement Park by the Littleton Symphony Orchestra. Then there is the parade and all of the activities associated with it on Saturday. Gallup Street is the place to be. Actually, you can see the entire parade and chit chat with people. And if you watch out for JD and Brianna and our little red wagon, it's a great place to stop by and visit. And then the Littleton Symphony is at Hudson Gardens on Sunday. Those are the ones that I know about. And then by the time we meet again next September, sort of the fall seasons of all of the entities and organizations and college will be in full swing. So will be lots to do over the coming months.
Summer's over, pretty much.
So dovetailing off of what you just shared, Littleton Ballet rarely has an opportunity to perform here in Littleton, but we have 3 performances this weekend that are all local. 2 with the Littleton Symphony Orchestra, the one that's at Clement Park, the one that is at Hudson Gardens, and then a really fun one. It's the reprisal of Alice in Wonderland this fall. So they'll be doing some of the Alice in Wonderland at Vega Park at 1 o'clock on Saturday. So go support the ballet.
Fabulous.
Vega Park on Saturday at 1, you
1
said?
o'clock.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
After the parade.
Right,
Okay.
yeah,
Just
we're gonna be
stay-
down
just stay
there.
down there.
My
We're
daughter's
gonna
covering
go.
it for the newspaper, so we're gonna be down there with her, so.
Oh, to dovetail on that, lift up longer tables, we'll have Littleton ballerinas and ballet dancers. They won't necessarily be performing, but they will be there in full costume. And then ACC's band, I believe, will be performing. We're ironing that out tomorrow.
Jazz band, right?
The jazz band, yep.
Which is a very good jazz band.
That's fun.
So there will also be a juggler.
Oh. Very exciting.
And a juggler.
We nix silent disco, maybe in the years to come. No silent disco.
I don't have too much to add. Just talking with folks in the community, I don't need to say this to this group, but it's important that people be kind to one another and, reach out to your neighbors. And if somebody's feeling down, check in on them. Things can be tough for folks for all kinds of different reasons. I know you all share these same values, but thought it was worth saying. I'm really excited about Western Welcome Week. I have never been in a parade in my life except for a thing called the Maple Festival in a place called Coudersport, Pennsylvania. Where I was wearing a green beret as about a, I don't know, fifth grader playing a euphonium in a marching. Yeah, looking forward to it.
I think maybe next month you should bring a picture.
This is not nearly as exciting as Green Berets and euphoniums, but very close to that level of excitement. We have bound copies of the strategic plan over there. Thank you for the reminder, Becky. Please each take a copy for yourselves and any others that you would like to distribute to anyone else who you think might want one. I have a lot more where those came from and we want to get them out.
They're all in her office, so she really.
That's nicer than the one I printed out.
Yeah, just found.
All right, same here.
I was gonna say, we were talking about the 2004 sculptures. So that year we bought Under a Watchful Eye, which is a bear sculpture down at Hudson Gardens. It's the mama bear.
Yeah.
And that was bought in conjunction, it's a memorial piece for Mary Bradford's daughter. So it was bought partially from the Fine Arts Board and Bradford Auto Body. Then this, as you are coming into the museum here, it's the sculpture that looks like a quilt by an artist. It's a bronze by an artist named Bill Weaver. And then there was a mosaic by Gary Monaco that is at in the courthouse as you're walking up the stairs. So I think those three pieces, and then the sunflowers were bought in 2002, but they weren't installed on site here at the museum. And, until 2005. So and oftentimes with artists, we start a project and then it takes more than a year. So they get paid a couple years down the road too. So I think that's where the chunk of that one.
They were on the green light first, weren't they? Or green one?
I don't know. I can take a look at that. But, and then the only other thing I wanted to say is congrats to Anna, who wrote the beautiful piece about the Plein Air Arts Festival, which is, the exhibit is this weekend. It opens this weekend on Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m.
Beautiful show in the art gallery in the town hall.
Yeah.
And I went down last week. Jenny has 2 pieces in it herself.
It's in the DL, but.
No, it's pastel, it's watercolor, it's mosaic, it's photography, it's everything. And it's all women artists, it's all plein air, it's all Littleton. It's very cool.
Everything was painted within the city boundaries.
Yep.
Do they have particular hours for that? For on Sunday?
Town Hall Arts Center hours, I'm not sure what. they
Yeah,
are.
the opening itself is 1 to 4 on Sunday,
Yeah.
this Sunday. And then after that, I don't know, but I can let you know.
It was sponsored by the Colorado Caucus for Women, I don't remember what it
Women's
is, but it's
Caucus.
a women's caucus, which is a
And
grant
through-
recipient.
Yes.
Nice.
Anna, great job.
Yeah, really well done.
Well, thank you all very much. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
And last slide of the Littleton Downtown Development presentation. And we are now opening up the floor for questions. So any other questions for Jenny or Danny?
I'm just curious if right now the priority really is just the basis. Is that kind of number one as far as putting things into action like within the next calendar year, or is that still kind of up in the air?
I think it's still up in the air. Just there's so many things that we have to consider about encumbrance permits and how we work with Public Works and the new grounds director. So if it's easier for us to just get a mural up somewhere, that potentially we could go in with the city to receive additional grant funding for the 250, 150 celebration. We're sort of open to any possibility right now, but the committee is, Brian and Krista are the ones that are sort of taking that discussion, and they'll come back to the board in a few months to present their recommendations for how we actually start spending money.
So the foundations for the art, so does that limit the type of art that goes? I'm just kind of confused what that looks like and.
Yeah. So as we understand, and I should have included a photo, and I'm sorry that I didn't. As we understand from our peers, doing some sort of rotating sculpture or interactive art program has yielded some of the best results among, murals also being added and, events around art and culture. But the rotating sculpture program is really what they recommend. And it's not to own the art, it's to loan. Everything is on loan for a year or two. So you're paying the artist a stipend, you're opening an application process, you're saying what your specifications are for art in the public right of way. They apply and submit through an application process that we would then have a committee approve or not. And then they would come and install those sculptures for a year or two. There's everything from, we have to think of the sight lines based on where those are. But the sculptures that we have seen in Greeley, I hadn't been to Greeley for 25 years. I had no idea where I was. It was beautiful. And they have an entire sculpture program that lines, I think it's 8th Street all the way into their downtown core. And they have bases that are raised concrete planters with lighting and irrigation that have been funded by the city. They're each $5,000. They have plaques. And then the art is on a plinth in that actual base. In a community just north of San Diego, I went on a public art tour there, and they just have a flat concrete pad that's maybe 5 foot by 5 foot with another plinth and then an area for a plaque. So it really just depends on what the city, mostly Public Works and Grounds, says is more appropriate for our public right of way. And then the question becomes, how do we install it? Can they help us do that? And what are the specifications? So, but the plinths can be tall and get that art 5 feet up off the ground. They can also just be small. We already have a lot of wonderful sculptures in the district that are sitting on the ground that I'm sure were not intended to be fire hydrants for dogs, but they're at that height, and there are ways that we can raise all of that as well. So.
Any other questions? Well, thank you for coming tonight. I feel comfortable saying we are thrilled at what you're doing and be glad to support you further in any way that we're able.
Thank you. And we will be back once we start to put structure around what an art committee looks like, because your partnership is critical to, we don't want to have to be the experts in that. We'll use our partners. So thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Well, then, next up, and we didn't talk about how we're using or presenting this. Are you ready just for a handoff, or?
I can work with that.
Okay. Anna,
I need, sorry, thank you folks. Thank you. Maybe Becky says he's for a minute. If I'm concerned, I'm gonna stop recording.
okay, very short candy break.
So many candy breaks.
Who needs Doritos?
This is the best meeting ever.
Kate, you really nailed it. Like, you came in prepared. You should have rotating candy responsibility.
The caramel ones aren't even.
Should there be a snacks I know?
For real.
Chips and candy.
Where's the party
They're
planning
so
committee?
I know. Consult you guys.
Whatever that.
I was gonna ask if you wanted.
Yeah. As in Secret Santa.
Probably does.
She's like going to the birthdays. We have presents.
Fires.
I worked from home, I need this, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
But it sounds like she delivered.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Bill just stay on fire.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now I feel like.
I know.
That is.
Doritos.
Literally, it is all mine.
Yes.
Kate, did you bring all the treats?
I feel like that's what Sean knows.
No.
Oh, well,
Cookie store?
there's a story. So like
JD
JD and I got into a little bit of a tiff about the
Potato
art
chips.
stuff.
And
And
know how they heard
two were in the middle in the email exchange.
I know.
And so these two they never jumped in, but you could just imagine like they're just eating popcorn, watching emails go back and forth.
And those were the actual voices came.
They came jumping out of the email. Love it.
And I'm like, why can't just bring these guys treats without bringing?
Fish cans.
And apparently
For sharing with
Skittles
the
are on
class,
the.
Kate.
What?
Thanks for sharing with the whole class.
Sure, I'm a share.
I was at a birthday
Yeah.
party that had a cotton candy machine.
Ooh.
And evidently you could just pour Skittles right in the middle of it.
Huh?
And spin cotton candy out of the Skittles.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a budget for that.
Who wants to do a grant
I
application?
put napkins in.
Yeah, right?
I'm surprised
You want your own package?
already.
Kelly Kate's had it. Had one at the.
You're okay.
Kelly Kate's is
Next month. We used to be.
We had one. I don't know where they got it, but they had the church may have one.
I have it done.
Oh, then why don't
Thank you.
And he's like,
And all you need
wow.
are some Skittles. Skittles. All you need is some Skittles. I don't mind.
If that's sorry, this month, I swear.
They didn't
Bring those to you, Joel.
I know, Saturday.
Yeah, buy that. So you vote on my budget.
No, I don't.
No, that was Marion. Yeah. So I left
probably
Monroe.
just-
Now you're studying.
We should probably.
There we go.
Yeah, we don't have exit rules. Yeah.
Think about my statement. I mean, it's not wrong, it's not.
I'll take that one.
I probably could do that.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right. We are back again and ready to go. And I will hand over the meeting now to Kimberly Dahl with the Public Works Department.
Yes.
And if you would tell us all why you're here and what you need us to do, we would appreciate it.
And what she does. Oh, just, never mind.
Yep.
I just had to read. Okay.
That's all right. So hi, everybody. My name is Kimberly Dahl. I am the Assistant City Engineer with the Public Works Department. And I am here today to talk about the bridge fence replacement that we are doing at Main Street, Alamo Avenue, and Prince Street. So just an overview, I'm going to kind of just walk you through what the project location and the scope is. I'll show you a brief rendering, talk about how art became a topic in this project to begin with. Bring up the color discussion questions, and because you might have other questions, I'll briefly go over the schedule and the impacts before we actually have the color discussion. So that's the intention. So with that, what we are doing is we are doing fence repair and a utility installation and retaining wall repair for the bridges that go over the railroad tracks along Prince Street, Main Street, and Alamo Avenue, as shown in those bubbles. The project, wait on me. That's not part of my presentation.
Snack break.
It's like you planned this, Kate.
We're gonna go with it. So this is the rendering that okay, so backing up a step. In February of this year, we advertised and awarded the project to Hallmark Construction. And we needed to go to city council to award that contract because of the dollar amount. It's about $1.2 million to repair or replace the fences. The fence openings, there are restrictions on that. And the color, we had selected beige brown. And so this was all part of the original project. We had it approved in February, and we thought it was a great opportunity to present to the LDDA board, showing them, hey, we finally made progress. This is what we're planning on doing. And the board was not impressed with the color or the lack of aesthetic. As Jenny was saying, all of these bridges are on the gateway into our core downtown area, whether it's the downtown gateway or the south gateway. And so the board really saw this as an opportunity to incorporate art. So I had worked with a few representatives, Tim with the Arts and Culture Board, and then also his name is escaping me, from the LDDA. And we had come up with a sort of mountain stencil that we thought would be good. And the LDDA board had unanimously voted that this was, out of all the options presented, this was the one that they liked the best. So we went back to city council on the 2nd and presented this artwork because there is an additional cost associated with that. We did need some other funding for some other things for the project, increase of steel and that type of thing. But this was the art that was selected, and I had presented that it was still beige. And primarily because the LDDA board was not able to come to a consensus on a color. They had suggested red and yellow, kind of in alignment with the city's logo. There was suggestions of forest green, blue green, black, but there wasn't really a group consensus on that. So in my engineering mindset, which is not color-based, what it is, I'm good at other things. The color choice, I stuck with beige because I felt from a maintenance perspective, a lighter color would probably be easier. It would absorb less heat, require replacement less frequently. However, council felt very strongly that beige was underwhelming. And almost lost the change order on everything else, which would jeopardize the project schedule. So why I'm here is to let you know that beige is underwhelming, and I really am asking you not to pick beige. I did find out from our contractor that 2 painted colors of having the stencil be one color and the fence be a different color is not constructible. The amount of touch-up work and the cleanliness of it, it would, the word kindergarten class was mentioned.
Nice.
So the 2 colors for painting was not constructible. So I basically have 2 questions that I would ask to put in front of you. Question 1 is, do we paint it all one color? Or the fabricator suggested that maybe we leave the stencil galvanized, which is shiny, think the Rio Grande Bridge, just a little bit north of Main Street. Or we could have a galvanized fence and a painted stencil. So we could leave one galvanized and paint the other. The second question is what color? So before we dive into that, just a little bit more information about the project, the impacts during construction. We are looking at single lane closures only. They are only working on one bridge at a time. So you will see them on one street at a time, one side at a time. No full street closures. So we thought that was important to keep traffic flowing in and out of downtown especially. The schedule overview for the 3 bridges, the duration is dependent on the length of the bridge. So Prince Street, we are starting first. We are kicking that off on September 22nd, which is not very far away at all. That will take about 7 weeks to complete. We'll follow that up with Main Street, which is scheduled at 4 weeks, and then Alamo Avenue is a little bit longer, so that will follow that at 5 weeks. So back to our color choices. With the help of Anna and I'm sorry, I don't know your name. There we go. Yeah. Our staff, I handed out what I had printed as far as the RAL, not RAL, the federal standard colors. And these are, all of these are an option as far as what we could, what color we could make the bridge or the fence. So unless anyone has a better proposal, what I would suggest is that we answer question 1. And I would love for all of this to be unanimous or vast majority consensus if we can't get unanimous. Determine the answer to question 1, and then question 2, suggested that maybe we decide on like a color hue that we want to go for. And then maybe we can, you know, as a group, identify some of those colors and then maybe do a vote. at the end. Maybe a few iterative votes to, okay, here's our top three type of a deal. That sound good to everybody? Okay,
So
Can I,
questions?
so before we answer question one or two, can you describe exactly what we're looking at as far as the fence and the stencil? What is painted, what is beige, what is?
Absolutely. Great
Not.
question. So taking a step back, and I apologize, I've seen this project so many times, I forget explain the whole part of it. So going back to this rendering, you'll see that this shows the mesh is denser on one portion of the fence than another. RTD requires the mesh to have no greater than 3/8 inch openings. The other railroads allow us a 2-inch opening. So that's why you see the different shading there. The stencil will be installed on the outer side of the fence, so not where the traveling public would be, but on the outer side of the fence, and it's tack welded on there. All checked out and make sure everything's stuck on there just fine. But that's a solid metal steel plate that is comprising the stencil. And in the rendering, what you're seeing here is why it's broken up in panels like that is because the fence is installed in panels. It's not one continuous fence. But for clarity purposes, I did not show the mesh on here. But I mean, in reality, you're thinking you got 1/2 inch openings. Some of that view will be obstructed. The other thing to note that I did not clarify I know I didn't clarify it. Art is only being installed on the Main Street and Alamo Avenue bridges. All three will be the same color, but the stencils will only be on the Main Street and Alamo Avenue bridges.
So the mountains themselves are the steel plates, solid steel plates.
Yes.
They will be mounted on the non-pedestrian sides of the bridge. And they will be painted on both sides.
Yes.
So
That-
part of it will be obstructed.
By the fence mesh,
By the
yes.
fence
So any questions about that part? 'Cause that helps me a great deal. Thank you. Any other background or process questions before we go into answering question number one?
What are you gonna do with prints if it's not getting the artistic pieces put on? Is it just gonna look? I guess, does it even have anything done to it?
It will just have the mesh.
You'll just have mesh.
And it'll be
One-
the same color.
Yes, the
as the
same
others.
color as the other bridges.
Are
But
the
it won't have the
mountains,
pattern.
are the mountains on both sides of the bridge?
Yes. Not both sides of the fence, but both sides of the bridge. Yes. One other thing I would like to mention that I mentioned at the council meeting is that we can always come back at a future date and do additional things, if Prince Street is desired for art in the future. It's just a matter of coming back to install it. So this is not a one and done, this is our only bite at the apple. But it is an opportunity given what we are doing.
And option A would be the mesh and the steel painted the same color.
Yes.
That would be in the future, correct, to paint the mesh?
That's as it's installed today,
Okay,
because the entirety of the fence will be removed and replaced.
cool. You did mention earlier about the darker the paint, the more that it would absorb heat.
Mhm.
Is that something that we should be aware of?
You can be aware of it, but at the same time, I believe aesthetics are going to override that element. That's that is the intent, because they wouldn't have these colors if we couldn't get these colors.
Okay,
It may be a little bit more frequent, maybe it's a 10-year repaint instead of 15, but
so it just has to do with the aesthetic. I'm just, anything structurally that added heat, or will it add heat to the road, or?
And then with maintenance, if we keep something galvanized, that increase maintenance cost, like if we have to repaint it in 10 years?
it actually lessens the maintenance
Okay.
So on the one hand, if you galvanize one and paint the other, there's a little bit of work that goes into keeping the stencil galvanized.
Okay.
And needing to repaint the other. But galvanization is something that honestly we love in the public works world, because we don't paint it, we don't do anything with it. You can see if the rust is showing up. Aesthetically, it's shiny and bright and not many folks are a fan.
Do you know if those great horned owls still nest there?
I do not. I was not aware of the great horned owls. Where did they nest?
Right above the train tracks. like
Oh,
on the bridge.
oh,
They have been the last few years. On the bridge. I don't know if they have the last.
I don't know if
more-
that
most
makes
recently,
any
I know that-
difference
5
with-
years.
it honestly shouldn't, because what we're doing with the project is repairing the concrete wall. That the fence is already mounted on, so we'll take down the existing fence, repair all that concrete wall. There is some fall protection, like object protection that goes to the side of the bridge, but we're not doing anything underneath.
Are you worried about galvanized steel?
I don't
and
know.
Birds flying into it?
I don't know. I mean, they're already high risk. They already fall onto the tracks, you know, it's a weird place, but they like it. And so I wouldn't wanna do something that would make it worse for them.
Absolutely. I honestly don't know what they would be attracted to or not
Okay.
attracted to.
You know, if the galvanized steel, is there much sun reflection or glare off of it?
There can be, it's not a super polished light to it. It's not like a focused,
It's a little more dull.
yeah.
Okay.
But would it be annoying in a glare? Probably. Strong as a car windshield? Probably not.
Okay.
So then, question for the board. And I'm probably making this more complicated. Does anyone have any serious concerns that they can't possibly choose answer A, B, or C under question 1, not knowing what the color might be? Thank you.
Right answer.
We wanna get out of here.
Gotta get out of here.
At some point.
Eventually, we're gonna run out of
Putting
time.
money away. Come on, Katie, move along.
Told you.
So, let's just go through with a quick thumbs up, thumbs down. We'll do A, thumbs up, thumbs down, B, thumbs up, thumbs down, C, thumbs up, some thumbs down. See if we can just eliminate any of them. And if we're mixed, there's 9 of us here tonight. We'll figure that out. Does that work for you, Kate?
One more question, and I think you may have just asked this, but if we just did the galvanized steel of the bridge stuff and not the relief,
Mhm.
it wouldn't do as much shiny in your eyes as driving, right?
Probably not, because it's a flat surface versus all the curved surfaces.
Okay.
Where could we see galvanized, like what can you compare it to?
The Rio Grande Bridge over, what is it, Slaughterhouse Gulch? If you, it's just to the, and I work there and I don't even know the directions. It's just to the east of the county building and just to the east of the city center. If you go south on Rio Grande, it's just before you dump out onto Main Street in Alamo. Crest Line Avenue in Rio. And that's the similar style of mesh also, I think is the 2x2.
Dennis, are you street viewing this?
Yeah.
Trying to.
I'm gonna see if I.
Field trip?
With Skittles.
Maps.
Yeah.
We could get Skittles on the field trip.
All right, well, I'm just gonna try to move us forward while we look at that. So A was paint both the mesh and the solid steel mountains the same color. Thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't.
You keep your thumbs up so we can do a quick count for you.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna vote, JD. Do I have to vote?
You don't have to
Any of
vote.
them? I don't feel
It's-
strong.
Oh,
So the fence is the color and the stencil is galvanized.
No,
this
this
is-
is
They're
everything.
all the
Everything will
same.
be the same.
Okay, sorry.
And it won't be beige.
Not beige.
Will not.
Okay, okay.
Actually, we just need thumbs up. If
Oh.
you good.
Okay,
Whoever's
so-
whoever's voting yes.
So A
thumbs up.
is out by my.
We need to do it, we need to.
Yeah,
we need
that,
to do a
no,
count.
I was the only one that
We need
said
to do a
thumbs
count
up.
for the record.
That,
Okay, just
that
one.
is,
Okay.
Thank you for that.
That's
And that's galvanized.
That's
All right.
And this is the wider mesh, not the over the RTD mesh.
Correct. Looks a lot like
It's
chain
just
link.
like a galvanized chain. Okay, now I understand what you're talking about.
Okay. So then we have
For visual learners.
B, which was, I forget.
Fence galvanized stencil.
So painting the fence, the mesh, a color, and leaving the mountains galvanized steel. Thumbs up if you like that.
Just only thumbs up.
Just thumbs up, yeah. 3.
No, 4.
Denise was voting yes too.
I voted thumbs down, but I'm not like.
Cameron, Elaine, Joe.
Who was the 4th?
Joe.
I was.
I got Joe, I got Keely, I got Denise.
Paint fence galvanized
You're good.
stencil.
Okay, there we go.
That would leave us with C, galvanized fence, painted steel.
Are you with?
I'm not sure.
I think I'm gonna give that, I am gonna vote. I'm gonna vote for 3, C.
So
So now it's a tie. Now that I think about it.
With no
that's, that's fine. Anybody wanna make a case for their position really quick? 60 seconds.
My only fear with having a galvanized fence with just a painted stencil. I mean, it might look great, but it's ordinary chain link fence. You'll just look at it, right? Am I correct on that? It's like a normal chain link fence, galvanized fence. So it'll look like galvanized fence and you'll have a little bit of color in the.
See, I don't,
Within
that
the
is,
area.
I don't think the galvanization is gonna pop through the colored fence. And I think what we're gonna see is a colored fence with, hey, what's that behind it?
Yeah, you're right, it might be.
So-
Yeah, cause what's the size of the RTD gas?
3/8.
I give.
Right.
I think this is mine.
What is the?
My question is if it was painted completely, it probably would just blend in. You wouldn't even notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
true.
think a regular fence with pops of color, but the mountains, that
I
to me.
mean, it
is
would
a
probably show up, you're right.
mistake.
It's probably gonna show
I am
up.
You know, and none of it should necessarily pop that much since everyone's driving. So. you
Right,
know,
really,
we don't
pay
want to
attention to the
throw
road, and
one
put your phone down.
Uh-huh.
Well, my concern is that then you have a piece of galvanized metal that if the sun does hit it just right, you're kind of blinded.
That's a little bit of my concern.
And
too,
so
yeah.
I'd rather have that painted versus the fence, which isn't gonna have a solid sheet of silver to reflect on.
If I could, and I believe I can, specify that the galvanized is kind of a matte type finish. What would that do as far as, I mean, not that I wanna introduce more options. But would that make it like if it was, you know, if that was the only thing holding up consensus with the group, I do believe that's something I could push for.
Not mirror-like.
Huh?
Not a
Not mirror
mirror.
like. It would,
We're not-
I
we're
can
not-
guarantee it would not be mirror like. But how matte we were able to make it, I'm sure we can buff it up pretty nicely to not be that reflection.
So I do wanna check in with Joel really quick. I felt, and Keely was there also, how strong city council was that they wanted the relief portion painted.
I don't remember.
Okay,
hearing-
cool.
I mean, I remember there being a conversation about separate colors and that being not, but this is new information. The
Okay.
Galvanized was new information to me tonight.
This is the closest to separate colors I could get.
JD, right now you have 1 vote for A, 4 votes for B, 4 votes for C. So essentially Joni has the deciding vote.
No, I voted twice.
No, I didn't.
Because
I'm gonna
I
actually
thought
switch
this
my
one was
vote
out,
anyway.
so I
Never
voted.
mind.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna switch my vote now that everyone was talking. I think I'll just go with galvanized fence with a painted stencil then.
All right,
if
so-
it's
I was
that.
leaning in the same direction.
Yeah, so let's leave
It was
question,
convincing.
paint all one color still out. So let's just do the 2 again. Thumbs up if you want painted fence, galvanized stencil. And
0.
just to clarify, thumbs up if you want galvanized fence, What did I just say?
Yeah, you're good.
Galvanized-
You're there.
Galvanized fence, painted stencil. If that's your vote,
Yeah, excellent.
there it is.
You
Okay,
all were very
Unanimous.
convincing.
Perfect. I love it.
so now let's talk color.
Color, here we
This is
go.
gonna be so easy.
The color.
So.
We have 800. Let's get started. This one right here,
Listen.
thumbs up.
I don't want to beige, so we can skip over them.
All of them.
We were emailing about this bull.
Where do we go? Cold, cool, warm.
Let
That's
me-
actually, that's a
let me
pretty
hand it back over to.
At least then we could get into like the range of colors.
So being a person that can't tell a warm blue from a cold blue, Tim and I were talking and we were talking about maybe having a discussion about hue, like maybe we go through the colors of the rainbow, like do we want it red or a shade of red?
Starting
at
with the
least
basic
narrow it
color wheel.
that way?
Let's start
Yeah,
there.
I agree.
Yeah.
So just really quick, if everybody could just number their pages,
Depends on what kind of-
1 through 9.
Marking our.
Yeah, so just down in the corner, mark
I think
your.
I have a pen on me.
You may
I don't need a
both-
pen. I don't need
Where'd you fit?
And I'm just gonna commentate for a minute, really quick. If this matters to anyone, anyone on staff, how often does the city change their logos and colors?
Oh, gosh.
20 years.
Yeah, maybe.
And
When
we're,
are we due?
we're probably what, 8 or 9 years into the current?
We're about 12 years.
12 years in, and what is the lifespan of this color in theory?
Hopefully 15.
So is it safe to say, members of staff, that the color scheme of this bridge will last longer than the color scheme of the current city logo? And then I will commentate further to say, perhaps if that's your motivating factor, realize that there's a shelf life.
I heard zero interest on the part of anyone in changing the logo or the colors at this point, but all it takes is for council to decide they don't like it.
And I think the hated council beige was based on kind of the yellowish of the logo, so I think it's kind of safe to say yellow's out. But would it be safe to say red is still in?
I think it's, I'm not looking to eliminate anything. I'm just trying to say if your motivation is let's match the city logo, there's probably a shelf life.
I don't think we can fully say that yellow's out.
Yeah, we won't say that yet. Tim, is there anything else from your experience that you want to add at this point?
No, I mean aesthetic opinions here and there, but like nothing specific, yeah.
Beige was your idea, wasn't
Let's just own up to it now, Tim.
All right.
So neutral.
I believe beige was selected back in 2021, which might predate, definitely predates me.
Okay,
So
so let's Roy G.
That was the
Bivet
COVID talk.
and
So we're not gonna consider brown.
Or any shade of brown?
we'll Roy G. Biv plus some others. Thumbs up if you like the color, thumbs not up if you don't, and we'll see if we can eliminate anything really quick.
Only voting one
Meaning
yes.
pages or no?
Like we just.
No, just red, orange, yellow, just generalize.
Okay,
All right.
what if we just painted a rainbow?
You,
Oh, that would be so cool.
all right,
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
here we go.
A rainbow.
Kiwis, let's do the.
Thumbs up if you want red.
Want red to be the final color, or want red to be?
No, the
included?
red family.
Red,
I think
Okay.
reds
you're
could be
interested in
worked
talking about red.
Red is in the
reds or
running, I
oranges
think
or
is the
any of that could work.
question.
are we voting for more than one?
No, just red. Red family.
Red family.
Four.
How many votes is it, like half vote?
I don't know. Let's see what we get. If we get 9 on one color, we're gonna lean in that direction. Orange, the family of orange.
Kiwi clearly representing has one vote.
Like
I'll
two.
vote again. Oh, we got two.
Can we vote again?
You can
Yeah,
vote
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I like, yeah.
Watch me vote on every color of the rainbow.
Thumbs
Like-
up if you like the family of yellow.
Boo.
It's
All right.
hard to
That's a great
see.
color.
These are great colors.
I disagree, it's not.
Green. Thumbs up if you like the family of green.
Ooh, is that 100%?
Has to be a good green though.
Thumbs up if you like the family of blue.
Could be the one from school.
For what it's worth, blue on bridges is a very good call. There are like a lot of studies out there that blue is a calming color, and that's very helpful on bridges for a lot of different reasons.
Throw in another thumb for blue.
That's my.
I see where you're going with this.
We're
If I
curving
say-
the results.
If I say indigo, is everyone comfortable knowing what that is?
Oh,
Green, blue.
Purple.
All right.
Blue is
Purple.
purple.
All right, so we're skipping indigo.
No, what is indigo?
It's like a purple.
Blue and purple together.
Blue.
And then violet is purple?
Yeah. violet.
Technically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't see any indigo in here.
I'm seeing very little
Yeah,
in
there's-
that family.
okay, in the purple.
Purple is a very.
There's just like gray, which
Let me
I.
just, we'll do Roy G. Yeah. Purple, if you like the purple family, thumbs up.
Purple Mountains Majesty?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, that's cute. You got me.
I don't see any.
There's, on the last, on page 9, there's a couple.
Some nice profiles.
See, somebody referenced a page.
All right, for Denise, the family of Brown. Gray. Anybody thumbs up for gray?
Battleship gray.
And thumbs up for black? One, all right.
We love all these colors.
Okay, what's our winning?
You're with 9 votes, green is number 1. With 8 votes, blue is number 2.
We had one added to blue, so you've got that, it's tied.
Well, I think, who was the?
I think we don't need to count me.
JD gave it extra credit.
Oh, I thought JD had already voted. You don't get 2 votes. On the same one.
We all got 2 votes.
Purple's number, well, you don't get to vote twice on the same. Five was purple, so your top 3 are green, blue, purple.
It's red.
So you really pulled it out of, we're on that one, Denise, on the purple.
All right,
No.
so green, blue, purple. Anyone seriously object if we spend our time in those families? Make a pitch for one of the warmer colors?
We're a cold bunch.
Okay,
Joe was struggling. You okay?
No, he's right. I think you're right. There is a lot of studies with color and I've seen it play out in schools where we've colored walls that are red and it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Probably not the best idea. So yeah, I would say maybe cool colors would be a good idea, especially.
I feel like the green kind of blends in with foliage, the blue blends in with the sky, so the art is there, the additional beauty is there, but it's not a distraction. And I think for both foot traffic, because that's foot traffic on a heavily driven road, and for the driving traffic itself, I think having the art there is great, but having it be too much, probably not a great thing.
and I also think when Colorado turns our own lovely shade of brown, those colors will pop nicely.
They'll pop nicely, but not obnoxiously or really distracting.
Okay, so if everyone looks at their packet, I am going to eliminate page 1. And the bottom row folds over onto page 2. We're gonna keep page 2. I'm gonna eliminate page 3. We'll keep page 4, bottom. We'll keep page 5. I'm gonna eliminate page 6. We'll keep page 7. We'll keep page 8. And I'm gonna eliminate page 9. Any objections?
There is purple on page 9, are we?
There is purple on the very bottom of page 2.
Page, bottom of page.
That one goes on to.
Getting rid of
Oh, wait.
7. There's nothing on it.
I think page 2 is,
6 would.
Yeah.
6, 3 and 6, they're definitely gone.
3 and 6.
all right, well, we can pull them back in for purples if we need.
Okay, got it.
Oh, good.
All right. Any wonderful ideas on how we lead this from here?
Green versus blue.
Okay,
Cut it down to those 2 categories and then dive in on whichever shades we like or which.
no, purple.
Yeah, I would like to
Purple's
make a
still-
little call for, we don't have to say all purples, but I really like, 30076, the bottom right corner.
Of page.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's kind of like a maroon, like a
Oh.
rust kind of color.
The 27144 you said?
30076.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Federal
Something
standard.
like that, like maybe not all purples, but I like that.
Do we go?
Are we throwing,
By
are we
vote?
throwing colors?
We're gonna
out?
narrow it down green and blue, right?
Well,
I mean, we can vote on
And that
three, right?
purple.
let's,
I feel like everyone gets to say one and then
Yeah.
we can vote on that. Maybe.
Yeah, if you're drawn to something.
I don't know.
Picking
the favorite one on the page and then
comparing to the next favorite one on the page, but I'm not sure that one.
I'm intrigued by the everyone pick a color, and we'll have 9 choices. So
Yeah.
right now, we'll eliminate it
Could,
down
like,
to
write it
9.
on
I have to pick one color.
Yeah.
And maybe then when we vote, you have to
This
pick
is
one that's
really
not
hard
your
for us.
No, but you can lobby others.
I'll just-
How about
Why don't we
I'll
eliminate
do one
the-
blue
and one green?
Color first.
Yeah, can we pick one blue and one green?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, everyone can pick 2
Democracy.
colors.
2?
You can pick 2 colors.
I was gonna
pick the
propose
same color
3 and then we
twice.
see if anybody
Hey,
picks.
Casey.
Then it gets a tally mark.
Yes.
Tim's got an idea that I think would maybe take us forward faster on the
Okay.
trim down.
Okay.
Again, I'm sorry I said blue-green, I left out purple, but figuring out if we're gonna go blue, if we're gonna go green, or if we're gonna go purple first, and then do.
Yeah, let's do
the
that.
dive.
All
Because I
right,
think if everybody's firing off between those 3 colors,
That's a lot, yeah.
You've done this before.
I have not, I'm just trying to use my little logic brain somewhere.
I like it.
Like that would work a little faster than everybody firing off different 9
I like it,
colors or-
yep. All right.
You know,
You're
Here all night.
Everyone,
Like, this is gonna take longer than the grants discussion.
Oh, you are so correct.
and there's a better chance
Don't
that
put that
council
into me.
overrides us. So let's do it. So we'll do green, blue, purple. Thumbs up.
We're voting one.
You get.
We're
you
gonna
get
try
one
to-
vote.
You get one vote.
We get 1 thumbs up for the family.
Okay.
All right. Thumbs up for green.
Thumbs up.
Changed my mind,
One.
Tim.
All right, we got 1 that I count. Am I
All
right?
right, Kate's gonna come collect all the chips and candy. Thumbs up.
In 2 minutes.
Thumbs up for blue.
I mean, yeah. I got outruled, so yeah, I'll vote for this.
Well, I haven't voted yet.
It's ranked choice.
All right.
Thumbs back up for blue.
Thumbs up for blue.
3.
The only thing is mountains are green, they're not blue.
I voted for green.
I mean, they're actually like red and orange. That's why I voted the first time.
Really, a lot of the year they're beige.
Live in Colorado.
Thumbs up for purple.
Purple Mountains Majesty. Come on, people.
All right, there it is.
1 for green, which then changes.
Yeah,
one
that's
for
why I was-
blue.
Not that I don't like.
So it's actually
Lots,
0.
All right, we're into blues.
We're doing it.
Only blue.
Fine.
Okay, here we go.
Favorite blue?
All right,
Please.
are we looking
These are-
to pick
Give
the
me all-
blue?
These are all of our notes.
I need a number.
All right,
You wanna narrow down?
You don't want
Light
that
and
blue?
dark?
Yes.
let's, okay, yes, let's do it.
Everybody
feel-
picks their-
Light blue,
Those blues?
dark blue.
See, that's hard because it's like, what's dark
Yeah.
blue?
Well,
Yeah, 'cause there's a million grades.
Tim, do you have another idea?
I do, if we
With
pick
your
a
little
couple
brain?
of pages that have selections of blue and then everyone picks their top 2 on that, those couple of pages. I'm just trying to, we have such a large number of options that.
Yeah.
You're saying
Tim, I think that's a great idea.
Can
I
I ask
appreciate-
you, is there a risk of fading? I mean, if we go too dark,
that's
will
my
that
point.
fade out too much? So how dark would be appropriate to not worry as much about fading? Medium, I mean, just to give us an idea, like navy blue would probably fade, right?
Well, I mean, it's all gonna be subjective. It's not gonna look like it fades because all of it's gonna fade at once. It's kind of like one of those things of, when you paint your house, you think it's all the same color until you repaint it and then it kind of gets vibrant again. So I don't know that I could say that there's a specific range at which you would or wouldn't notice. Somebody like me, I wouldn't notice it at all, no matter what, until it probably starts to flake and rust. But that's, you know, that's my interest.
It's an honest answer, so thank you.
Right.
And along that same line, like, does anybody have experience with navy blue being sun bleached and like what color that turns into? Is it just light blue?
Well, you're also gonna have parts of the fence that are probably not gonna be hit by the sun at all, because they're on the other side of the. Think about it from one of the sides of the bridges, it'll never see the sun, or at least not intensely as the other side.
Southern
So,
facing
yeah,
always
they're not
ages
east, west.
more.
So there's gonna be a difference anyway.
Yeah.
Let me ask this, if we just work off of pages 2 and I'm skipping 4 and 5, maybe.
8 has.
It
2
has
and
a really
8.
nice picture.
Yeah.
2 and 8?
I was like, I just
Can we
picked
get rid of
some-
everything but 2 and 8?
Yes.
All right, down to 2 pages.
Do you want to pick between dark and light?
They are, I'm just trying.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, no.
Just choose dark. so
But I
lights
think,
maybe.
what does dark and light mean?
That's what I'm
Just
saying.
One of these
Yeah,
blues is
they-
labeled.
There's a lot of medium.
Like,
A lot of subjective,
this blue
but-
on page 8 is labeled dark blue, but I wouldn't say that that's a dark color.
Then I think blue.
I feel like we just need to start throwing out
Well,
numbers.
let me ask really quick. Recognizing that we're now into abstract. Can we have thumbs up really quick for light blue, thumbs up for dark blue, just to see where we are?
Yeah.
And if you're not sure what your color is, then it can live in whatever category wins.
Okay.
Thumbs up for light blue. Thumbs up for dark blue. Okay, so let's lean and look towards the light blues. Everybody pick their favorite light blue. And if it happens to look purple, then well.
Can I pick 2?
Then isn't that interesting?
That was a little snarky.
It's so hard to imagine what.
Not doing that. Right?
Maybe the color changing rendering?
So just on 2 or 8?
2 or 8.
Where's Tab? Where's my illustrator?
I tried to bring the color deck so we can.
We have a chart.
But that was like $350.
Yeah.
These words.
I think it's just
Yeah.
This is great.
Alright, are we throwing out numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. 35190
Which one? Which page is that on?
on page 8, if you would like to.
And what's the number again?
35190.
Anna is also taking note of darks on
Dark
the
blue.
tablet behind you.
just call
Oh,
it
yeah.
dark blue.
I'm here.
I would agree that it's not dark.
35190.
Lee, this is why I was.
I have one to present.
Okay, Cameron.
Page 2,
Oh, there it is.
15200. Sky blue.
I was looking at that, that's why I was wondering.
Yeah.
Other colors that you want to throw out? You got a number?
On page 8, 35250.
And they're just calling that one blue.
Several of them are just called blue.
Yeah,
Some of them
it's a
are dark
little
blue.
bit.
One called air superiority blue, and that just has an arrogance about it.
That does have a good air.
But I'm almost loving it. He's almost a diva, I don't know.
Not like
But
that.
is that gonna be the color or is this gonna be the color? They're very different.
A close one to that is not called air superiority blue is 35466 on page 8.
Is that your choice?
That is my choice that I'm currently.
354.
Sure, 35466.
Oh, it's next to air superiority blue.
What's that?
Next to air.
Wait, we have air, we
No,
have
no,
2
no.
air
It's on
superiority
page-
blues.
Oh, it,
Oh.
Well, we also have like 5 dark ones, so.
All right, anybody else, anyone else want to offer a number?
I have one on page 2, 15187. No name.
Oh, that's a nice.
Which one is it?
That's a different direction. 187.
Ooh.
That's not bad. I think it was the best.
Me too.
3-5. Honestly haven't.
What'd you say?
35180.
that.
That is on page 8.
3, 5, 180.
Yeah, I could live with that too.
Oh, that's the same.
All right, anybody else? We have 9 members in the room and 6 numbers. Anyone else want to offer a number?
Yeah, I'll do the 15450, which actually looks exactly the same as
What page are you on?
35450. I think they do have different numbers, but I do like that.
What, Michelle, what page was that? Was that 2?
It's on page 2 and on page 8. It's like, I think it's the same color.
A lot of them do look very.
It's that air superiority.
Oh.
We need, Joe and JD.
They already chose colors that I'm fine with, so
Oh, okay.
I'll give another one.
Yeah, I had 2 choices. They're both up there, so I'm good.
We're good then.
All right, would everyone take 2 minutes and look at these 7 colors?
Does
So
everyone see that in the back?
Dennis, can we have the Sharpie back?
Not.
Circle thickness
a
now.
masterclass in desk kind of.
Okay, do you wanna read the numbers?
I know, I'm like.
Yeah, I'll read them.
Taking notes right now.
15187, it's on page 2.
Okay.
35190.
1,
3515187,
15187.
that's on 2.
Okay,
Then 35190.
on page 8.
Oh, so many.
590.
Yep. Then you'd have 15200, which is on page 2.
152.
And then you have
Wait, where's? I looked at all of these if they were being filled out. Oh, here it is, federal.
Got it. Okay, and then you have the 5250 page 2. 35256. Real big. Shirt's right here. Turn around.
Oh, here it is.
1-5.
I think it was this.
Then stay on page 8. And it's 35.
Okay, so
I remember that.
can I, so my last one was that
Next one is
15450, but I think that's the same as the second one. Like, I'm willing to give up, wait, is it? 3-5.
Next one.
Actually, I probably. 3-5-1.
5.
They are both called air superiority blue.
Oh, no, hold on, I got.
15450 on page 2.
Oh, wait, maybe not.
Never mind.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's go up.
Trying to like hide it.
Federal standards.
Well, they're all federal standard with brand of paint.
They're doing the show.
Like, I think so.
One side was sun, so
I feel like this one is this one.
the other 2 dark, I would go the dark.
30 seconds.
This is gonna be a longer meeting.
What am I trying to pick right now? Just.
Yeah.
my paper.
You're just looking at them, so you know what you're gonna thumbs up.
Do you want more Doritos?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Give her that back.
This one's mostly.
You're welcome.
Not the same, but
Yeah.
All right, so as you're taking your last and final glances, I'm gonna give everyone 2 hands, 2 thumbs. And we're gonna go down a list and you get to vote for 2 of those colors. And what I'm hoping to do with this is we'll narrow it down to either 2 or 3 top finalists, and then we'll do one last vote. Okay, so you get to vote for any 2 of these colors. Are you ready, Denise?
I'm ready.
Denise is gonna go first.
Yeah, wait, hold on, I'm just gonna number you. So rather than know the whole number, you can just tell me.
There
Oh,
we go.
Oh, shoot. I was really smart,
All right.
but now I must, okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Number one.
I'm gonna do number one. And.
That's number one.
Number
Six,
six.
number six. Okay.
I'm gonna do number 4 and number 6.
I'm voting on 1 and 5.
I'm doing 1 and 4.
Kate, that takes us to you.
Oh, I am doing. I'm doing number 4 and number 6.
I'm gonna do 3 and 5.
It's getting exciting. And 2 and 7.
Joe.
I'm gonna vote for 5 and 4. 5 and 4.
Um, 2 and 4. Look at 4 pulling ahead over there.
You've got 5 votes for 4. And then 3 votes for 1 and 3 votes for 5.
And 3 votes.
Oh, and
for
3
six.
votes for 6. So, yeah.
Can you go with 4 because it has the most?
Do we want to do another round? We have
I could-
a 1-2
What if-
margin winner.
I can.
Can we
live
do
with-
another vote on the 3s?
Yeah, let's do it.
Have a
Oh,
1
smart.
to 2,
Yeah,
and we can do a
Yep.
1.
All right, so 4 stays in,
we're gonna do 1, 5, and 6.
1, 5, and 6.
1 vote each. And Keely, you get to go first.
Oh, no. 5.
5.
Hold on. 3, 5. Or,
'Cause we.
5, please.
I did 2.
Oh,
You're
that's
up.
me?
Yep.
I'll do 5.
6.
6. 5.
6.
6.
Oh.
All right. So we are now down to 2 choices. Please take a look at these and decide how your 1 vote will be cast. 35250 and 35466. Both on page 8. But it gets 1 vote. And we're gonna start with Tim this time.
I will vote for 5.
Going my
Okay.
way?
Yep.
4.
Now we'll jump over to Michelle. Now to Joni.
4.
Now to Joe. 5. Now to Cameron.
5.
Now to Keely.
4.
What did I say? 35250. I said 4.
Oh my God.
JD, did you vote for 4?
Denise, is it you? Does it come down to Denise?
It'll be right now.
Nice.
She's the one who chose the color.
I know. I am gonna go 4.
There it is.
Wow. Thank you.
Job.
Nice.
5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5, 0. Thank you.
It is indeed.
Right.
Have
It's pretty
one
bright.
final request.
Uh-oh.
Colorado sky blue.
There you go.
Which one?
I don't want to complicate this any more than I need to. However, I have been in a situation
Done.
where when we picked out the paint chip, it did not quite present the way that we thought it would. So with your permission, unless there's a different way you'd rather do it, I'd like to have a representative to just, if I get that color swatch and I can run it by somebody and just say, does this match the intent that we have? Would that be okay, or do you want me to just run with it?
I would appreciate it.
Keely's it. She's your contact. And I think for what it's worth, you have a second choice too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work used for.
We can always use 4.
Yeah.
No, 5.
Five.
Or 1.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
It's fine. It's 7.
Oh, Anna.
It's a very good choice.
Are you okay with the color, Joel?
Yeah, but this is also like why we had like this is awesome. I've had a lot of fun watching this.
I hope this isn't our peak performance of the year.
I just want to write that we finished like 8 minutes before the grants. So I just want to.
We
We
have a
started an
whole
hour
other
earlier.
presentation.
Grant started earlier.
We started an hour early.
And we had dinner.
And we had dinner, there was a presentation.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
I'm gonna be so excited when
Joel,
I
when
see
you
you.
report out.
I shall.
Tell
I
them
went
that
faster
we're
than I
here until
expected.
about 11.
And beige was a really close second.
I'll let them know.
I picked it.
Okay,
Extra brown. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
thank you. Anna, if you are ready, we are gonna move on to an update on percent, or is this Anna or Tim?
This is you, JD.
Is this me? Well, shoot.
I can do it.
Well, I'll start and then you can jump in and fix what I say wrong. Denise and I don't even remember when, did we do this? We had a meeting since we presented?
It was like 3 weeks.
So since our last meeting,
August 26th.
Denise and I shared with the city council the Percent for Public Art program. It was given a thumbs up at the study session, and so has now been advanced to policy draft, which I think we're still doing a few last minute tweaks with Public Works.
Yeah, what's in front of you reflects the feedback that we got from city council on August 26th. So this includes their suggestions for finalizing the policy. I have asked the Public Works Director to review it, particularly the exclusion section, and he's supposed to get back to me tomorrow. It's budget week, so everybody's a little pressed. Jim also has it in hand, and I need to hear back from him, but I feel pretty good that this is a fairly clean copy, certainly based on what council told us.
This is the one you sent us an email, correct? Was there any changes after that?
No, not since that.
So this will go before council, on October 7th.
October 7th.
So confirmed for October 7th, not yet sure if it'll be on the agenda or on consent.
We think it'll be on consent, but we'll know for sure after the mayor pro tem's meeting next Tuesday.
Well, because one for the 2 million.
But I would say it's most likely to be on consent.
Fails.
I don't think they'll put it on.
No, I think it was well received. They had a good discussion about it. But overall, we thought for a minute it might break towards not putting a percent for public art policy in place, but rather just allocating a line item out of the general fund. Certainly that is not the direction I wanted to go because I like the permanency of the program more than allocations. We've seen graphs about how that tends to work out. So I was really pleased. I think Denise knocked it out of the park with her presentation. so far, we're on a good track and it's a win. Denise, any?
Well, first I want to say we had a few people there, so Kate and Keely, thank you for coming and supporting. I do think that when it comes on October 7th, if anybody wants to say anything to city council to support the arts, that would also be a lovely, just a statement as a private citizen, not as an arts and culture board member. But to just.
Public hearing on October 7th? Like, or is it the first read on October 7th?
It's first.
Okay.
For this,
There wouldn't.
it'll be a resolution. It's
It'll be a
one and done.
resolution.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and
So we would just go give general public comment?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think it's always nice to just reiterate, especially if there's a fence sitter, which could happen, that may or may not love it as much as the others on council. It would be nice to have just a few voices there to stress how important arts and culture are, how it's relevant to the community, how much it does influence people, and how it is a hallmark of who we are as a city. So if you have an opportunity to go speak, I would encourage that. Or if you have friends or neighbors that are really interested in arts and culture, have them speak as well.
Can we not use the word fence right now?
That was perhaps on purpose, JD. Give me a little credit here.
Too soon.
So, Tim, anything to add? Any questions about the policy?
The only thing I would add is I do think it'll be on consent. I do think it'll also be pulled because I think there'll want to be a division for the vote on this particular one. If they pull it, then there's an opportunity that they may call somebody up to speak to the policy. I'll be there, Ann will be there, JD and Denise probably will be there. Generally, we keep it pretty limited and pretty succinct. The policy, I think, fairly speaks for itself.
Is there any? Two questions. So if I recall, it was a 6 or a 4-2 vote, and Steve Barr was gone, like move it forward. Do we have any sense of Steve's feelings about this?
My understanding is he is a yes.
And then there was a lot of conversation about 3A funds and whether or not we're utilizing 3A funds. And I don't see any changes to that, and yet we're not addressing that. Okay.
We don't designate the specific fund, we simply say it'll be out of capital improvement. The city has multiple capital improvement funds. So Jim will work with finance to make sure that it comes out of the non-3A capital funds.
Okay.
And that may or may not come up this weekend. Is that possible with the budget retreat?
Possible.
So things could shift after Saturday. But one of the council members that was most concerned about using 3A funds this very last week when it came to this F word conversation, was very pro using 3A funds for it. So I think really started to understand how it can apply to different situations.
Okay.
So it's not a done deal for sure, but we're moving in a good direction.
Cool.
for the sake of the public record too, and I know exactly what you meant, Keely, but at study sessions, there's no vote.
Thank you.
I understand what you
Yeah.
mean, but it's just direction to council, to staff.
Thank you for the clarification.
So we'll have an answer next time we meet.
Yes, sure will.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'm just trying to be quick, so. We will move on then to the review updated.
You might mention the council's response to the board's funding recommendations for the lodging tax. The first half of the study session.
I might, thank you. Council advanced our recommendation without any changes. Again, appreciated the effort that went into choosing it. Great, thank you. Next up is review updated annual art award policy. This, I believe.
You all have the handy dandy one pager, which many of you have seen before, because we're entering our third annual Arts and Culture Award nomination. I made very few changes to the actual, I guess, I don't know if this would be considered a policy, but it was mostly just tightening up the language. just some general quick context for this information for anyone who's new. Our Arts and Culture Award is announced and like presented at the annual State of the Arts event, which is scheduled for April 1st, 2026. It's a Wednesday evening.
You're kidding.
You're kidding. Ah, I see what you did there. And it's actually gonna be at ACC this year. Normally it's in our museum main entryway, but we're having a major HVAC project going on next spring. So ACC, Wednesday, April 1st, this award will be presented. And past 2 years, we nominated really impactful people in the community, and we would like to continue that tradition. This year was Sonia Ellenbow, who actually just passed recently. So it was a very timely thing. That was for the inaugural award. And then last year was Cindy Hathaway with Western Welcome Week. So we are opening again nominations this year. It's open to any citizen that works or lives in Littleton, so it's pretty broad. And you can also nominate an individual, an organization, or a group. It's gone to individuals the past 2 years, but it's not to say a group or an organization can't be nominated in the future as well. I will be opening up the form. We debated opening it up this year, but because the event's not till April, we're gonna open it up January 1st and then leave it open for 6 weeks and close it mid-February. So this is really just to make you aware of this process in place and get you thinking now about who you would like to nominate.
We will select in the March.
I would like to select, yeah, we'll have to select in March because it will be after, we'll close it after our February board meeting. So we'll select in March to present the event.
So if you want people to nominate others, spread the word. If you want your selection to win, keep it to yourself.
Democracy in action.
Yeah.
In the last
Questions?
2 years, it has been an individual that has
It
won,
has,
correct? Okay.
yeah.
And did we have organizations nominated last year?
Yep, we did. We had a couple. And I'll promote this via like, the usual channels through the city too. So hopefully we can really get the word out. It's pretty early still, and I don't think people are gonna be thinking about it. So it was intentional that we didn't open it up right now. But we do want the board to start thinking about it and promoting it for sure. Anything else on that front?
So next month, we'll talk about or the lodger's tax policy for the next year, correct? In October?
No, we're November,
November.
but we'll hand out the policy, the current policy next month for you to take back and do as homework.
And then the communications department is coming to present particularly on tier 3 and visit Littleton. And calendar photo judging.
Thank you for the reminder. I was gonna do that at roundtable, but Monday, September 29th is the annual photo calendar selection process. I was told that we already have 5 board members who have signed up, so thank you to those who are here who are excited to take part. I know people have really liked doing that in the past. I'm sure if there's other people who haven't yet contacted Katie Olson, there's still plenty of room. So if that's something that you want to do, please just refer to my email from last week, I think. You can contact Katie directly if you want to do part.
For those of you that haven't done it, it's super fun. Super recommend doing it.
Are you bringing
Dinner.
snacks?
Usually feed you.
They do.
Isn't this enough for you to get?
All right, well then let's close out with our roundtable. And Keely, you want to go first?
Sure. We have 3 more weeks of farmers market, so get it while you still can. But mostly just pushing forward to Pride, which is on October 11th, the same day as the Harvest Festival. And that's kind of like the main thing that is on my mind right now, so that's what we're up to.
you gonna have drag queens at Pride again this year?
Drag queens and kings.
Okay, I like it.
And a band or two, I think.
It was really fun last year.
Nothing.
I was gonna say, it's a long day. You can do both. It's Harvest
Yeah,
Fest in the
yeah.
morning,
People do
Pride
do
in the
both.
afternoon. Enjoyed the Sidewalk Chalk Festival downtown Old Littleton this weekend, and it was since you had your show since last meeting, wasn't it? Or did-
but you did come.
I did come,
You
yes,
did.
but I didn't know if I
Yeah.
mentioned it already, yeah, so, part of our board monies went to support an art show for all local women artists, and it was really cool, really good theater, so. That's all.
Littleton Longer Tables is on the 24th Wednesday. And ACC is doing their brass band. Littleton Youth Ballet will be down doing some ballet. I believe we will have a juggler, and the mariachi band is still up in the air. So
With
if
the
you
juggler?
The juggler would
I
be.
think the juggler's up here.
Wait a minute.
Well done.
They're all wait.
My
Okay.
apologies, I had to.
Let's see what else. And if you haven't gotten your tickets, I have extra tickets, so please let me know. But we would love to have you come join.
There's a craft fair coming up
Or something.
and, just looking forward to all the fun.
What's your booth number again?
I'm in H28 off the backside.
We'll stop.
Is it the same location?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that all
Where's it at?
weekend?
It's here, right?
It's
I
a,
think
yeah.
it's Saturday,
It's just
Sunday, yeah, it's 2
Saturday.
days, right?
No, it's
No, it's just Saturday.
No, two.
Saturday.
It's a 3-day weekend.
It's one very long day.
Hours? The hours of the art fair?
9 to 4,
9 to 4.
When's it the busiest?
Morning.
9 to
Yeah.
4.
It's
noon.
pretty constant.
And then there's a little bit of.
8:30 to noon.
Are there food trucks?
Feelings.
Feelings.
We have.
No, I'm gonna-
concessionaires.
There's usually burgers and dogs.
Yeah, service organization.
And Santiago's burrito.
Ooh, yum.
I'll be attending all of these things.
Town Hall Arts Center is opening, their soft opening is happening right now. But they officially open tomorrow night, the Buddy Holly story. So that's exciting, and the symphony is in October, so we'll meet before they debut. The only other thing I wanted to comment on is I went to the, what is it, Meet, Greet, and Eat? Is that the right sequence?
Yes, that is it.
And that happened yesterday afternoon, and I was so excited to go up to the Transportation and Mobility Board's table. And then I went to look for the Arts and Culture Board's table and nothing.
Whose fault is that?
So, what's that?
Whose fault is that?
Well, I just we didn't think of it. So, next spring, maybe we can talk about whether or not we want to, and there were members of the board there. So if we want to.
You always piggyback on the museum's table.
Or the library.
Yeah, and library, yeah.
I'm friends with the guy who does all of those, so I can step in to help coordinate a table.
Yeah, I think it'll just be if we want to commit to staffing it also, but loved it.
JD, is the elevator working yet?
At Town Hall,
Uh-huh.
for the moment, yes.
Oh, it does?
You can bring snacks, the kids will love it.
Is it safe?
Is
Yes, it
is
is.
that a den at the library?
Nope.
Are you being mean to Dennis?
I have one last thing to add before we leave. Littleton Ballet is putting on their storybook ballet of Alice in Wonderland tomorrow, and Saturday. Tomorrow is at Lone Tree Arts Center. Saturday is all the way up in Westminster at Joanna Ramsey Theater, but it's a beautiful theater. So 3 shows this weekend. There's postcards over there.
Great.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kate, for snacks.
Thank you.
that was
Thank you.
Ready, break.
Finest green thing I've ever seen.